The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
All I want to see is five guys happy playing together, and that's what makes the music.
Randy never knew how great he was.
Every week I get like about 2 or 3 letters, kids and young kids all over, the U.S. and stuff, and all they want is an autographed picture. And it's amazing. I don't know if their parents tell them, but, gosh, we played so many gigs that we've seen kids like, 15 and 16 singing all the lyrics that it really makes you feel good because they're appreciating, what I did and what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd.
You're kidding me. Did Randy Meisner die?
He did. Yeah, he passed away.
Son of a bitch. I had no idea.
I'm sorry. I assumed you wouldn't have known. That's no way to start a show.
No. As soon as you started playing the audio, I'm telling myself, no. Randy Meisner died?
He did.
F me, run. Can we just go home? I don't want to be funny on the day that... Oh, no. Well, let's just listen to this for a while. I had no idea. Randy Meisner from the Eagles, just one of the most beautiful voices and this beautiful song. That is so tough for me, Josh. I had no idea. I just got a text that says, "Oh my God, is Randy Shaver dead?" No, not Randy
different
Shaver.
Randy.
Randy Meisner.
Randy Marsh, he's fine. Randy Shaver, he's fine.
Man,
this is your favorite song, isn't it? That's why I picked this one.
By a landslide, my favorite Randy Meisner.
Yeah. Favorite Eagles songs.
Yeah, it's just so good. We got other listeners are texting in now, Josh, saying they did not know, and it's hitting them hard too. It sucks.
They sure sold a lot of records, didn't they?
Oh my God!
I mean, their greatest hits compilation, one of the greatest, or the most sold more records than almost anything else. And for a while, it was the leader in sales. Were you planning on going to see the surviving members of the Eagles in November?
I wasn't. I'm screwed here, you guys. No, I was not planning on going to the show, but
2 shows in November at the X. I know that's a pretty hot ticket. I wonder if they're sold out already.
Go take a look.
Thank you for that, Josh. But listeners are texting in saying they've got goosebumps. God dang it.
The Eagles' 5th all-time album sales, 101 million, including 13 platinum discs.
Jeez,
I mean,
stupid.
I just thought
that seems like you're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
They had such a great thing going for a lot of years. Wow, that really bums me out to know that Randy Meisner has died.
Boy, and things were rough for him, too. He had a lot of bad luck, a lot of chemical issues, a lot of weird stories surrounding him, and kind of strange things that happened around him as well.
Yeah, but man, for my money, when you had Randy, Glenn Fry, Don Henley, Don Felder, Joe Walsh, when you had that group, they were untouchable. What a sad day. Now I think I got to go see the show.
I bet it'll be something special.
Well, I saw him a few years ago at Target Field, and it was a beautiful thing.
Was Glenn Fry's son in the band at that time, Deacon Fry?
Yep. Well, damn.
I'm looking at Ticketmaster. Still a few tickets available, but they are not cheap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are we talking? Just like, are we talking Taylor Swift prices?
No, not quite Taylor Swift, but the cheapest ticket gets in the upper deck is $329.
Man, it's so... back in the day, if it was $29 to see a concert, I think my parents would beat the heck out of me. $329 for an upper deck seat. Huh?
For an upper decker, yeah.
Did you call it an upper decker?
Yeah, I regret that immediately.
I was going to say I could do that a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Wapple's done it here for free.
Yeah.
I know I've gone down this route before, but if you have not watched the documentary, The History of the Eagles, which Showtime or HBO put together 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I'm not just saying this because the Eagles are one of my favorite bands, but that is just such a well-done, great documentary that covers every effing thing from start to finish. And they have such a great story. And what a great time you know, the early 70s, you know, that Southern California kind of rock and country mix of music that became popular. You know, the Eagles were part of that movement with Jackson Browne and some others like that. But I'm very envious of all those guys, the lives that they lived and the time that they lived it in, you know. And a lot of the guys like Glenn Frey, God rest his soul, he was such a great storyteller. If you haven't seen it, if you care about music at all, it's a poke. It's a 3 or 4 hour deal, but Wapple, I know, yeah, you've seen it. You're an Eagles fan.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, Wapple.
My mom is a huge Eagles fan. It was always the Eagles or Rolling Stones always playing in our house.
In the clip there, I think that was in the clip I just played. I've got more coming up later, but where Randy was talking about he doesn't really. All of a sudden he sees young kids. Did I play that in the intro one?
Yeah.
I forget. Okay. He sees young kids at the show, and he's like, well, what's going on here? And I can tell you, one of the biggest Eagles fans I know is my stepdaughter, and she's 21 now, and she's loved them forever. She saw him at that same show, Target Field.
Yeah. Oh, and they partied.
And
did the Eagles party?
You mentioned the type of life they had.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind following Linda Ronstadt around back in the 1970s.
Linda Ronstadt.
Hubba.
She was gorgeous and such a great singer. Because Glenn Frey and Don Henley, I think, played in her backup band.
Yeah, they were in the backup band, yeah.
Before and even during when the Eagles, even after the Eagles, you know, gained a little success, I think they still worked with Linda Ronstadt. Maybe other members of the band also worked with her, but yeah, just.
Are you a Steely Dan guy? Because that's who's opening for the Eagles in November.
I enjoy their music. It's nothing that I've ever gotten terribly wild about, but they've got some terrific songs.
They'll bring people out for sure.
They opened for someone else that I saw. Maybe it was Rod Stewart years ago. I can't remember. But back to that Eagles documentary. It begins, the beginning, if I remember right, Wapple, you know it too. It's such a great beginning because I think Glenn Frey's just sitting in a room and he says something along the lines of, everybody talks about how badly we fought as a band and the low points of the Eagles, but he said, 99.9% of the time, being a member of the Eagles was an effing blast.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm. And you can believe it. You can believe it.
And that's what happened.
They didn't get along all that time.
No.
I love that story. I love that part of the story where, you know, hey, man, the crowd's going nuts, you know. It's time to play Take It to the Limit. And Meisner just be kind of laying on a couch in the what do they call the place where the band might hang out?
The green room?
Yeah, whatever, the backstage.
Yeah.
He's just kind of laying there with a half-empty bottle of vodka. I don't really feel like singing Take It to the Limit.
You know, it's really high up there. It's a lot of work.
Get your ass out here and sing Take It to the Limit. I don't want to sing Take It to the... Well, I'll be damned. I'm sorry to go on and on about it, but this is a sad day. You'll cover a little bit more when we get to your news, Cubby?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Man, Randy Meisner. I mean...
Well, I'm sorry you're taking this so hard. I know a lot of people are.
It's not your fault. I just had no idea. And you started to play the music in the intro and Randy Meisner's voice, and I thought, it better be his friggin' birthday. God dang. All right. I'll try to gather myself here. Friday, you know.
Today is our Friday. That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
I challenge any of you to make me care about today's broadcast.
You came in here not caring.
No.
And I'd imagine this news doesn't help.
Well, all of a sudden, today's broadcast got kind of serious, but I was going to challenge any of you to make me care. That's every Friday for me.
That's funny. That is true.
You're starting to come around to that, aren't you? Because I think when I first told you years ago, I walked in here and said, God, I don't care. I don't have a care in the world how today's broadcast goes. And you said, well, we got to, you know. Now you're starting to come around to that who gives a rat's ass it's Friday thing.
Well, you know what? It's not so much that, but I just can't wait to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I love being here, but it's the after show stuff that I don't want to do. That's more what I'm thinking. All right, it's Friday. Let's skip the after show stuff. So it's more that than the show stuff.
You know what's? Hopefully you find this interesting. My Friday mindset here the last few years, it's comparable to, like say back when I used to be dumb enough to agree to go on airplanes. I'd go here, I'd go there. Usually it was the radio station forcing us to go somewheres on an airplane. But there were a handful of times when I went here or there with a woman or something. I used to drink in order to tolerate all of the miseries of air travel. And I would always try to drink just the right amount of beer to where I wasn't stumbling around, and bothering people on the airplane, but I was drunk enough to where I couldn't possibly care less if the plane fell smooth out of the sky and landed in a minefield. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm not saying I'm drunk right now, but what's interesting is, Josh, my brain has somehow been able to produce that carefree feeling naturally for me when I wake up on Friday mornings.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's a lighter day because you're not going to be spending your whole day doing work stuff.
Because I have that feeling where I don't think I'm going to bother anybody, and I just really don't care. It's such a nice thing.
Yeah, not having any F's to give, as the internet might say, that's a good feeling.
That is the slogan I've heard once or twice.
Unless it's about, like, your kids or laws, things like that. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Right. Dad fights today. Dad fights 138, but a lot of folks in our listening audience are looking at it as Dad fights 69 plus 69. Some of our listeners are very excited.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because some have been reminding us for weeks upon weeks, don't F this up.
Right.
69 plus 69 is coming up.
The waiting list to introduce, if you're not following this, every Dad Fights segment, it's a trivia segment. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, who will be coming on the show later, they face to face, butt to butt.
Everybody.
They go head to head in a trivia contest every Friday. We call it Dad Fights. And we always have a listener intro the game. The waiting list to be the intro listener for Dad Fights 69 plus 69 almost caused Wapple to have a nervous breakdown.
You're not kidding.
Everybody wanted that gig, didn't they?
Yeah, there was 6 people that requested just to do this one. Now, I would email them back. I'm like, hey, sorry, I already got someone lined up for that one. Do you want to do a different Dad Fights intro? No.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't want to?
No, I just wanted to do 69 plus 69.
What about 69 plus 69 plus 69? Right. Can you put them on that list?
Just have a huge list going.
Janel Klein visits us today as well.
I actually forgot about that. That'll put a smile on anybody's face.
Yes. That'll lift the room a little bit.
Oh, sure. What else is going on? We'll probably tell. I'm looking forward to the stupid news today as well. We got some good stuff for you. And we'll probably tell a Florida story or two in the stupid news. Florida always makes it in there.
They're really good for content, Florida. And it's one of those things where you don't necessarily know if it's because that's just how Florida is or if they just publicize it more. And they've embraced it. I mean, you'll see people in Florida wearing Florida Man shirts. I think it's a combination, but I think that they just publicize a lot more of that stuff. Because, if you talk to like a cop or something like that, you wouldn't believe what happened. They'll tell you, and you think, that's a stupid news story right there. But for whatever reason, it doesn't make the news.
Yeah, what would morning radio have done the last decade or 15 years without the state of Florida?
It'd be a lot shorter.
Yeah, it'd be a quick show most days.
But we'd be playing more songs.
Uh-huh. You wanna play a quick Twitter game here with me?
Sure.
Apparently Twitter, whatever goes on Twitter, they got a little gimmick going. What folks are doing is they're Googling Florida man, and that's been a gimmick for years. So many incredible, ridiculous, horrifying stories these days begin with a Florida man, took a deuce on a baby or whatever, You Google Florida man along with your birthday and see what story pops up. All right? And I believe Dana went ahead with this and looked up all of our birthdays and then highlighted some effed up Florida stories that happened on each of our birthdays.
It's kind of nice to share a day with some of these magical Florida moments.
Yeah. Let's start with old Cubby, the light of my life. His birthday, March 27th. Here are the stories that popped up for Cubby's birthday. Florida man hits mother. That's terrible, right?
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
Not a good start.
Right from the get-go. Florida man hits mother, stuffed dumplings in her mouth for refusing to dress his mannequin.
Some of they're so unique. I'm sure you guys as well. I remember us talking about some of these stories.
Do you remember some of these?
Oh, yeah. Specifically that. I mean, not specifically, but certainly that one.
You've got a sharp memory for a lot of things. Also on Josh's birthday, Florida man in green pajamas decides to eat pancake breakfast in the middle of a busy street.
Hey, when you want those pancakes, you want those pancakes.
And finally, from March 27th, Josh's birthday, Florida man steals alligator from golf course and tries to teach it a lesson by throwing it off the roof of a bar. I remember that one. Who threw it off the roof of a bar? All right, for my birthday, September 17th.
That's coming up.
I'll be damned.
I've already been shopping.
You bastard.
Yeah, I know.
September 17th, Florida man charged with accidentally shooting a bear that was trying to eat his trash. Florida man arrested for killing neighbor's rooster. He claims it was in self-defense. And a Florida man was on a first date that ended with him fleeing from police. That's a hell of a first date.
Yeah, you remember that one. You'd bring that one up at happy hour.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a second date. I mean, because, Ashley, do you like the Bad Boys?
To a certain extent. Not that extent.
So that's past the threshold of what you're willing to put up with?
Yeah, that's too far.
What date, let's say you're into the guy. Let's say your current boyfriend. The one that we usually see, not the other two.
Yep.
What if he ran from the cops? Would you stick with him?
Yeah, I'd stay with him.
You would?
I can't picture
I could see you helping him get away from the cops.
Yeah, just because he would need the help.
Wapple's mother, I believe, pushed him out onto the floor of a moving van on June 21st.
All correct.
Mm-hmm. So, you Google Florida man along with June 21st, this is what you get. Florida man pulls a gun on a police chief's daughter over cream cheese at Starbucks. Another drugged out Florida man gets naked and bites off the chunk of a human's face. I'll try that again. Another drugged out Florida man gets naked and bites off a chunk of human flesh is what the headline is.
I hope I never get that drugged out or drunk.
Yeah.
And from Waffles.
Because what is it? It's bath salts and crocodile, right? That's the one that makes you starving for face.
Yeah.
At least that's what we hear.
I didn't know about crocodile.
Crocodile turns you green, too.
Does it really, or are you kidding me?
No, it turns you green.
Is that why they call it crocodile?
Yeah, because parts of your body start to decay and start to rot.
Oh, great. That's
I'll tell
fun.
you, that's what.
A hell of a drug.
And finally, from June 21st, Wapple's birthday. Well, this guy sounds, I don't know, what are we mad at this guy for? It sounds like he was just performing, maybe you'd call it a public service. Florida man climbs atop playground equipment and tells kids where babies come from.
Your mom's private! Mommy's private! Yeah, I remember, gosh, I wish I could remember when I first found out where we actually exited mom and went into the world, because it always was, well, my tummy, right? You know, we made you came out of my tummy,
right?
Is what they, at least that's what my parents had said. I bet I was at an embarrassingly old age when I found out how it really worked out.
That the vagina was in play?
Yeah.
You weren't 100% certain of that until you were a little older?
Yeah, and you know, with C-sections.
Your mother's, yeah.
Some people come out of their mom's tummy, right?
Oh, sure.
C-section,
The
but yeah.
C-section.
I didn't realize. I mean, I wish I could remember the age. I remember learning about it, but I don't remember exactly how old I was.
Yeah, I mean,
I had just signed my first lease on an apartment.
oh,
I do remember that.
We do have a buddy who we still make fun of him this because it was an embarrassingly late in life that he learned that babies don't come out the back door.
Okay, I've never met anybody that thought that happened.
It was late in middle school that he was like, he was not joking. He was like, are you serious?
Did like an uncle say something, joke with him, and he went with it?
Yeah, it must have been some type of joke he had heard or something messing with him. You know, like, yeah, an older uncle, older brother. But he honestly thought that they came out to be.
That's hilarious.
it's not right.
I mean, kind of hilarious. Or what if he actually did? He's a medical miracle.
Josh, don't you wish you would have been there when baby Wapple hit the floor of that moving van?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, just pop home.
And then all of a sudden, my sister slammed that van door on my head.
Yeah, you did get crushed in the head by your sister.
Yeah.
Ashley is a young lady here on our program. Hi, Ashley.
Hey.
You were born October 31st. Here are the stories that pop up if you Google Florida man and October 31st. Well, that's Halloween. You'd think there'd be some crazy things.
Oh, yeah.
Florida man arrested for breaking into multiple cars after leaving trail of marinara sauce. Florida man takes epic mugshot after driving naked near school with wires attached to his penis.
Whoa. Some people like that, the shock.
And from October 31st, watch as Florida man hits woman with his groin at Target.
Man.
What did you say about what? Hooking things up? What?
Some people are into that, like, electric shock stuff. Like
Sexually?
Yeah, I know that they make nipple clamps for that.
Oh,
Do they really have electrical nipple clamps?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Ooh, like I said, I'm shopping for Nick's birthday.
I suppose I know where you're going with that. Dana, June 30th. Here we go. We'll wrap this up. June 30th. Florida man. Well, it's kind of commonplace, but still interesting. Florida man arrested for attempting to smuggle meth into jail up his rectum.
Dana, if you went to jail and it was going to be a long time, let's just say 10 years.
It would be a Game Boy, wouldn't it, that you'd smuggle into?
Some type of gaming system or a cell phone.
Well, not wings, chicken wings. I mean, tomorrow, you're
Buffalo wings.
probably going to go nuts for National Chicken Wing Day tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to get some wings tomorrow for sure. But I feel like the wings would be kind of, they wouldn't obviously last very long. Whereas if I had a Game Boy or a Nintendo Switch, that could maybe help me get me through a little bit longer than 13 wings would.
I bet you're right. That's all you can fit back there, huh?
13 wings?
I bet I could do 3 dozen.
Do you want to have a butt wing off?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Challenge accepted.
Here we go. Florida man commits robbery over chicken nuggets from June 30th. If you're looking up June 30th, and Florida man accused of posing as a Disney employee and then stealing an R2-D2 droid.
I bet that's not cheap.
That's how I celebrated my birthday 2 years ago.
And they had a real R2-D2 over there at Disney that would cruise around and make those little silly beep sounds and whatnot.
Oh, cute. I would follow that thing around all day.
What's the movie that debuted BB-8? I think that's the name of the robot.
The soccer ball.
Yeah.
I don't
soccer
know.
ball with the head on it.
I don't know. I saw it, though. I saw that one.
Was it The Force Awakens?
Yeah, Force Awakens.
It was?
The first one of the newest trilogy.
Okay. I couldn't remember exactly. So The Force Awakens, I went to a premiere, and they had the 501st, our friends who do the cosplay of the, all the Star Wars characters and stuff like that.
Sure.
And they're incredible. These guys really do a great job. But someone in the promotion had a life-size BB-8 that was remote control.
Oh, cute.
Oh, my God.
I'd be interested to know what something like that would cost.
Probably way too much.
I'd bet it'd be pretty insane.
Imagine how you could torture your pets with that thing. That sounds like fun. All right. We better get moving along like I mentioned already. Dad fights 69 plus 69. It's going to be a keeper. Janel Klein also visits us later. She's a Friday, and we just don't give an F. We'll be back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at Standard Heating.
You've got a number 1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you?
Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep. Maybe something like the I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask.
Sir, I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP.
Come on! He sounds hangry. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Half-assed morning show. 93X. Stupid news on the Half-assed morning show.
Josh and I have something else in common.
What?
We have so much in common, Cubby, up and down. Our upbringings, our likes, our dislikes.
It's kind of weird at times.
We were meant to be together. We truly were meant to be together. But we've just discovered something new, I should say, that we have in common. We both have an incredible crush on that Loomies lady.
Yeah.
The one we were just running her ad about the butt crack deodorant and whatnot.
I love her.
There's something about her that drives me wild.
She's so self-assured and just she doesn't mind saying deodorant for your butt. You know what I mean?
When she says the word butt crack, I get crazy. I do. I'm in love with her.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I see why. I mean, you guys feel the same way?
No.
Can't
You're
say
fired.
you.
Oh, wait, I can't. I don't have that power.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I do?
Who are you going to fire?
None of them. I kind of love all of them.
Friday's the day to do it, right?
Oh, that is
Statistically.
true. Oh, yeah?
Would be. Yeah.
You have to wait till after the show, though.
Have you guys had a situation here where your key didn't work, your key fob?
Not here, but other stations.
Well, you've been fired from a lot of those stations. Was one of those reasons why?
No, but I've heard from other people in radio where they just show up and the key doesn't work.
What?
Yeah, and that was always the joke, and I showed up, and the key didn't work, and I thought, well, can I just go home, or maybe I should check to see if this is an error. I didn't know which way to go.
That's hilarious. I love that. I love that bit where they just hit the enter button on the computer, right?
Yep.
And your key fob no longer allows you in the building. It's cold-blooded, but kind of hilarious at the same time.
It's been a while since we've talked about him, but our engineer, we've known him for decades, and he is one of the funniest / scariest guys you could ever meet, right? You do not want to get on his bad side because he'll do stuff like, if you piss him off, guess whose key doesn't work?
Yeah.
Oh, I could totally see him doing that.
He will make your life miserable.
Guess whose
in hilarious ways.
Guess whose computer is infected with every virus known to man? You know.
Wasn't that Washington commander that tried to walk into the training facility and his key didn't work?
A member of the Commodores, the Washington Commodores? I don't remember that story.
They cut him or something. And he was all happy. He's like, "Hey guys," and then he tries to open up the doors and they won't open. And then later he found out he was traded or he got released to free agents.
I don't know. I don't remember that, but I know there was a guy here years ago who that was the route they took in order to inform him that he was no longer employed here. They just gassed his key fob, right, and no longer works. And from what I was told, he was just walking towards the door with a big cup of coffee, well, another day at work, and then he grabs the front door. Hey, you sons of bitches. And it dawned on him, oh.
Because you always hear that.
I'm fired.
So I can think of 3 reasons why you do it. Maybe you guys have some more, but number 1, it would be to be a dick. That's how you want them to find out.
Yeah.
You just take away their privilege.
Yeah.
The second would be fear of confrontation.
Yes.
Or that person we know is a bit of a psychopath with a temper.
Yeah.
Which we've seen around here, and I think that still exists in a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one would be maybe just miscommunication between the person who's in charge of that, or they jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
No, we said to change the access at 4 p.m., not 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to fire him in between.
Right. I think you covered all the 3 possibilities, yeah.
That last one, Josh, happened to somebody I work with. She was at home trying to check her email on her phone, but it wouldn't let her log into her email. So her work email. So she's like, oh, that's weird. So she calls up the IT guy and she goes, hey, I can't get the email to work. What's going on? He's like, well, he got fired. And she was like, when was someone going to tell me that? The boss hadn't told her yet, and so maybe he jumped the gun and shut the email down too early. But so the IT guy ended up being the one telling her that she got fired.
Oh, that's not his job.
I know.
Did anybody say anything to him?
No, I don't think he didn't get any trouble or anything.
That's
it was
good.
Just, yeah, because he was just like, well, yeah, I mean, you got to let go. So I shut your email down. You don't get to access the email anymore.
That's if people want to text us, 651-989-9393, if there's a interesting way you found out you were fired or somebody you know. I mean, those are fun stories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you look back at it,
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
be, at the time, that's got to be pretty miserable.
Absolutely. We'd welcome those stories. Back to the Loomies lady again that Josh and I are both madly in love with. It's bigger when it's warm out, Jesus texted in, and he said, so you just rub a stick of deodorant in your ass crack? I think so. It's bigger when it's warm out, Jesus, but I can't be sure because I just get lost in that woman's eyes, and I really don't know what she's telling me.
Well, yeah, I think so because when in the TV commercial, you see her she talks about under boob.
Yeah.
And she kind of motions there. She kind of motions to her butt, doesn't she? Or did I add that for effect?
No, I think you're right. I
think she kind of turned to the side and showed what it would look like to, deodorant your butt.
I think you're right about all that.
Is that an issue, under boob, with sweat and stuff like heat like this? I hope that's not too personal of a question.
Yeah, definitely. You sweat everywhere.
So would you consider something like that, or is that common? Do women do that?
Yeah, I usually put a swipe of deodorant under both boobs and then down the middle too.
Down?
Oh, sure. Well, the cleavage.
Yeah.
The middle. If you want to know more about under boob sweat, Josh, I could give you a couple of my buddies' numbers. They know all about it.
The best is the aerosol deodorant.
Aerosol deodorant?
Yeah, aerosol. Thank you.
What about it?
That's really nice for the under boob stuff.
Like, say, Axe body spray?
Yeah.
I never leave the house without it. All right.
I've had one can of that. I don't really use it.
I like to keep a bunch of different flavors.
I hated it in middle school when everybody wore it, but then I had a break from it forever.
That's the best.
And I like it when you wear it now.
Well, I remember the kids, at least me and my friends, we go overboard with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'd
The
be
middle
going through
schoolers definitely did.
Getting a 6-pack of them and be needing to go back to Target in 3 days.
So my 11-year-old, he has a friend of mine gave me as a joke some cologne that Tracy Morgan talked about, and he talked about how if you use this cologne, you're going to get laid, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had it. I didn't use it. My son saw, oh my gosh, there's some cologne right there, and now that's his thing to be Mr. Cool if we're going someplace. And he says it's just one spray he uses, but my God, the whole I can tell. I can walk in the house and know, okay, he's going somewhere.
That's adorable.
He's got someplace to go. It's dorky, is what it is, Ashley.
I like to keep a few different flavors at the ready when it comes to my body spray. Josh, maybe you remember this years ago when I used to do bar gigs. I was sitting there with a promotions intern, and she was a pretty young lady, and she was cool too. And she was a U of M gal, so she knew what was cool and what was not.
Yeah,
I was already 40 or something, so I didn't know what was cool anymore. But some dude approached us at this bar gig, and he said something or another, and he moved on. And she said, "See if I can piece this together." She said, "That guy reeked like Axe body spray."
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what she said about this guy who had approached us. And she said, what a douchebag.
Oh,
yeah.
It kind of got that. I don't know if it still is. I don't hear people saying that.
It became the Nickelback of body sprays.
It really did.
Yes, it became the butt of a lot of jokes. So she said,
affliction T-shirts for a while were cool, and then everybody started making fun of people who wore those.
Right. So she said, the dude, he smelled like Axe body spray. What a douchebag. Maybe you had to be there, but I said, why do you say that, what was the setup?
That he was a douchebag?
Yeah. I'll get back to you on this because I have to be able to remember what directly I said to make her punchline worthwhile. But anyway, I'll get back to you on this. But her overall opinion was that douchebags wear Axe body spray.
Change the way you did things?
Absolutely not.
Now you still went for it?
No, she must not have noticed it on me, or did not want to directly call me a douchebag for fear that I would turn off her key fob.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Manford, quickly to go back to the topic of interesting ways or unfortunate ways you found out you or someone else was fired. Boy, these are thank you for texting, everyone. Man Purse Jesus said he saw his job posted on a job search board. I had a very specialized position, so it was obvious it was mine. I went in to ask my manager about it, and she denied it. Then 2 hours later, she came back to tell me they were letting me go.
Oh, that
Dude.
sucks.
Not cool.
That'd be like if you saw a significant other on a dating website.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, again, you're also on the dating website. Maybe somebody told you.
Somebody sent you a screenshot of it.
Yeah, I saw your wife on Hinge, bruh.
That's good stuff.
Somebody's telling me your affliction shirts were never cool. They were popular.
They were everywhere.
They were popular.
I don't know if I ever said cool. They were very popular.
They were friggin' everywhere for about 6-8 months. All right, we better get to the stupid news here at one point or another. Because there's a couple of good ones in here. I think I remember now. I said to the gal, why do you say Axe body spray is for douchebags? And she said, because douchebags wear it. There's trouble, Josh, in a little town in Pennsylvania called Tilden Township. Somebody's going around, driving around town, throwing frozen bananas at cars. They're looking for a pickup truck. That's where they believe the frozen bananas are being fired out of. They got these guys, or whoever it is, on dash cam video. A video from this past Monday night shows a pickup truck rolling down the road, by God, and then a frozen banana comes shooting out the vehicle, and it smashes into a car that was traveling in the opposite direction, if you can follow what I'm saying.
That could do some damage.
They hit a few cars while they were at it, these banana throwers. One of the poor suckers who got bananaed is a mother. She had her window rolled down.
Mama.
And the banana shards came spraying into her vehicle. Frozen banana comes flying. And it smashed into her baby seat, but the baby wasn't in there, luckily. There's also a police report from roughly the same neighborhood here, Cubby, where kids are throwing rotten fruit at vehicles. I don't know if they're connected. The local cops.
Like you watch some of the medieval themed movie, and that's when they're throwing rotten fruit and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Vegetable Justice. Do they still do that at? Help me out now.
The Renaissance.
Yeah, Renaissance. That guy that used to do that, hilarious, brutal,
God, biting.
Oh man, yeah. I saw him take some big men down. Some of his words.
The local cops here in Tilden Township are pretty pissed off about the frozen banana throwing because they say it could injure someone terribly. You could cause a effing deadly car crash by doing. This is my favorite part of the story. At the end of the article here, a commenter said, "These guys will learn a new use for bananas when they go to the Hooskow."
It appears to be a pickup truck, two-tone in color, and that picture actually has the banana in mid-flight. 5 vehicles traveling eastbound on Hex Highway, and a vehicle traveling westbound through frozen bananas and struck windshields and other car parts.
Have you guys ever had it happen where someone whipped something at you on the freeway?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, me too.
What was it?
It was
Do
a taco from Taco Bell.
Oh.
Are you serious?
That's a waste of a taco.
How do you know that?
I'd be mad.
Because I pulled over and saw the taco wrapping, and the thing that I couldn't figure out was they were going the direction towards Taco Bell. So
maybe they're going back for more ammo.
Yeah, either that or it was an old taco.
I don't think anybody threw anything at me.
It just happened to us a couple months ago.
You had something thrown at you?
Yeah, I can't tell you what it was. It was enough not to damage my vehicle, but it was loud AF. It hit my sunroof. We went under an underpass, and a couple of youths. They didn't seem like they were up to no good, but all of a sudden there's a super loud crash sound. So I don't know.
Did
like
it
I
dent
said,
anything?
What's that?
Did it dent anything?
Well, no, it hit my sunroof, and it didn't chip it or anything.
Oh, okay.
You don't deserve that.
Dented his
Maybe
pride
I did
a
that
little
day.
bit.
I don't know. But I did have a moment like, well, why me?
See, that makes me sad.
What did I do?
You don't deserve to be bullied by some kids.
I love that line. They'll learn a new use for bananas when they're in the hooskow.
I haven't heard hooskow used in a while.
Right.
Just thinking the same thing.
We were this stupid when we were kids. Water balloons, dough balls, eggs, whatever. We tossed all kinds of garbage at passing cars. Someone should have gotten a hold of us and kicked our asses. And let me tell you, a few adults came close to catching us, and they would have had every right to beat us into next week. And it wouldn't have been like it is today, where parents coddle their children and believe no matter what that their children are the most special thing in the entire world. If an adult would have tuned me up and brought me home in a headlock to my dad and said, "This is your kid, he threw a banana at my car, so I broke his nose for him," my dad would have said, "Well, he had it coming."
We used to do that, water balloons and snowballs, for sure.
We did bagels.
Bagels? Well, you rich kids.
Well, no, my buddy worked at Brugger's Bagels, and at the end of the day, they'd send them home with the leftover bagels, and rather than eating them or doing something productive with them, we would throw bagels at cars.
I witnessed a miracle when I was about a 9th grade kid, when we were on one of our water ballooning cars weekends. That's all we did was race into somebody's house, fill up a pile of balloons with water, race back out onto the street, smash some cars with them, race right back in the house and fill them up again. My buddy was able to, it was a friggin' miracle. A standard water balloon, he filled that damn thing up to the point where he was carrying it like a couple of big, circumference, Josh. Do you know how to...
that looked like a beach ball.
I mean...
Or actually, you're more doing like one of those exercise balls that you sit on.
That would be... Thank you. I was hoping someone could help me with a comparable. It was about the size of a damn exercise ball. And it held together when filling it up. It held together as he's walking it to the side of a road and waiting for a car to come by. The car comes by. It held together as it took all of his strength to hoist it towards the car. This is all very stupid. Again, I want to reiterate that we should have had our asses beat because we could have hurt somebody. But he heaves it at the car. I'll remember it till the day I die. It was like a 86 Chevy Blazer, and it literally moved the vehicle. Do you see what I'm saying? The impact. The dude, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Dude slams on the brakes. He chases us. He didn't catch us. He should have.
We got chased a few times.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it just didn't seem, maybe because we were kids and we weren't paying attention, but it didn't seem like as big of a deal back then. And now it certainly does. Maybe just because it's more publicized, all the negative things that can happen. A couple of people are texting wondering if I told that story about getting hit while driving, just to humble brag about my sunroof on my car. Truth is I did, but I screwed it up. I was hit in my panoramic sunroof. It spans pretty much the entire length of the roof of my vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Manassas, Virginia is where we're heading next. Manassas.
I don't think that's how you pronounce
it. Well, what is it?
I believe it's Manassas.
Oh, Manassas. Yeah. Okay.
You really put the emphasis on ass.
I didn't mean
Manasses.
Gun violence is a hot topic, by damn. Some people go this way when it comes to guns. Some go the other. Wasn't that nice the way I put that?
Mm-hmm.
Some think this, some think that. I'm proud of how I stated that. I didn't threaten to throw anybody out of the country. I didn't have to suggest that anybody sucks a specific part of my body if they feel differently than I do. I just said some people go this way, some people go the other way. With all that said, in Manassas, Virginia, gun violence has reached a new level. It has. I'm sorry to tell you. It's reached a new level. A cat fired a weapon in an apartment complex the other night.
Boy, wouldn't that be great if you could train a cat to use a firearm?
That would be super cool. I would love that.
It'd be terrifying.
Little Tunsis the cat, he busted a cap.
I'm thinking of my boyfriend's cat holding a little gun.
Are you picturing it sideways to look cool, like he's holding it sideways?
Yes, I'm picturing it cat-sized, too. Like a smaller gun.
Oh, sure.
And then he has a bandana, too, on top of his head.
Oh, nothing.
No one was hurt when this cat fired a weapon. The cops say it was accidental. I don't know. Cats can be dicks. I'd look a little closer at this case and this cat, wouldn't you, Josh?
Yeah, I've heard they can be.
A 29-year-old fella named Christopher Moore, he's going to catch hell for this. He's charged with one count of reckless handling of a firearm. Monday night, cops were called to this apartment complex for a report of a gunshot. And he told cops, this Chris Moore, He told cops he was preparing to clean his firearm when his cat knocked the gun off the table and the damn thing went off. That's effing scary, but also hilarious, because we've all seen cats do that bit before where they eyeball you.
Yep.
They eyeball you while knocking something off the table, and they look at you as if they're thinking, I bet you think I won't knock this onto the floor. You think I'm a punk or something, don't you?
Seriously.
Because I'll do it. I love that bit.
I'm gonna buy your cat a Peretta.
A Peretta.
I was trying to think of a gun. Gun pun.
That was good.
God dang it, I wish I just didn't throw it out there.
I just don't know the names of guns.
I was going to say Smith and Whisker, but I didn't think that would be as good as Peretta.
Good too. Dude, nice.
But the bullet fired through the wall of Chris's apartment and went ripping through the wall and ceiling of the neighboring apartment. That's a close friggin' call. And Toonsis I bet you Toonsis just went right back to sleep. Meanwhile, the owner gets cuffed and stuffed.
Yeah, how do you explain that one if you actually hurt somebody?
Oh!
I mean, I think it'd be less believable that it's the cat. Maybe in this one, they do believe you.
And I don't know, Cubby. I'm trying not to lose my cool with this next story. I'm trying not to say something that I'll regret.
Well, you can feel one way and somebody else can feel another way.
Hey, you're right.
You know?
No one has to suck this or bite this. I can feel one way, and someone else can feel the other, and we can still...
And you know what? You could probably still find other things in common, which would be enough not to hate each other's guts.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you for that reminder. Let me ask you a question now. Remind me of something else, Josh. How many times has Stevie Rochelle from the band Tough gone platinum?
I believe in his song, at least, he said 0 times.
That's right. Stevie Rochelle from the rock band Tough. He's gone platinum 0. He and I have that in common. I've also gone platinum 0 times. And I've also reproduced children 0 times. I'm not a parent. I don't know the bond that supposedly exists between parent and child. And the reason I say supposedly is because I've asked Josh before. I've said, is there a strong bond between you and your son? And he says, me and my what? And I say, your son, is there a special bond? And Josh says, well, maybe on the kid's end, but I don't feel much. Where I'm going with all this, even though I've never been a parent, I feel comfortable saying that if I had a child and they did something like what I'm about to tell you, I just don't think I could allow them to live in my house anymore. And I truly believe our relationship would permanently change. Significantly. Here's the deal. Down there in Florida, a day or two ago, cops are tearing through town looking for an armed man who kidnapped a 14-year-old girl. Stressful situation. Panicked situation.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, awful.
And then they found out that there was no abduction. An 11-year-old girl texted in a false abduction report to 911 because she thought it would be funny.
Oh.
Now, here's the whole story. Well, first off, you can text 911?
Yeah. In certain cities. I think Minneapolis you can.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not sure. I don't know that everybody.
Okay.
Every place does that.
Fair enough. A 911, obviously in this neighborhood in Florida, you can text 911. A 911 dispatcher receives a text about an abduction. The suspect supposedly was driving a white van in the city of Oak Hill, Florida. The girl who was texting in said her 14-year-old friend had been abducted and she was following the abductor in a blue Jeep. The kid texted updates for the next hour and a half describing the suspect, claiming he had a gun. Multiple cops from multiple cities responded, along with a damn police helicopter, from what I understand, to search for this vehicle, but no van was found. Cops tracked down the phone that texted 911. They find the young kid who sent the messages. She told them she got the idea to prank 911 through a YouTube challenge, and she thought it would be funny. Now, the cops did not find this funny, and you can hear how pissed they were. I'm sure, Josh, you have the audio from one of the cops' body cam footage.
This one I don't have. No.
Okay, fair enough. The cop says, I'm telling you this right now. They got the kid cuffed. The cop says, you're going to take this as a lesson at 11 years old that if you do something stupid in the future, you're going to enjoy these cuffs. And the kid says, I swear I won't do it again. Ugh. This stupid kid has been charged with making a false police report concerning the use of a firearm in a violent manner. I've never heard of that before, but it doesn't matter. A felony. That is a felony. She also has been charged with misuse of 911, which is a misdemeanor, and she's headed for juvie hall.
I would like to ask her who specifically she assumed would find it funny.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how long she's going to be in juvie, but she has earned a trip to juvenile hall. And if she likes jokes, I understand that juvie hall is a ton of laughs. It is a load of laughs. The county sheriff said in a statement to Facebook, this kind of prank is dangerous. We're going to investigate every incident, but today was wasted valuable resources that might have helped someone else who legitimately needed our help. I don't know. I'm just not sure I'd be able to love that child anymore.
I don't think I would either.
I would question how they got so dumb. I mean, that's pretty much as dumb as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, where did I go wrong? Could I have prevented this?
Fauché Maintenance Ninja on the topic of cat guns recommends a Sig's Meower. Come on, wake up, people.
I just don't know the names of guns, so I'm not getting
You've never
these
heard
puns.
of a Sig Sauer?
No.
What about a love gun? I said, honey, that ain't no pistol. That's my... And then the KISS crowd would chant. What would they shout, John?
Love gun.
Love gun. Bang. If you want to keep going with the latest TikTok whack-off, I've got it here. I've never heard of this product right here. It's called Borax. Anybody? Borax?
Yeah, the cleaner.
Oh, okay. It says here drinking borax is the latest TikTok trend that doctors and such are trying to debunk. Drinking borax. According to the story, it's a powdery substance found in laundry detergent. It's also sold on its own as a cleaning product. Borax has been banned in U.S. food products, but for some bizarro reason, some people on TikTok, they've suggested that adding a pinch of borax to your water could reduce inflammation and help with joint pain. Or that soaking in borax in the bathtub could detoxify the body. Several influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok recommended borax in videos that have now been taken down.
People are so dumb. Should I consult my doctor or should I go to @JoeyBigNuts' TikTok account?
Mm-hmm. So here's the deal with this drinking borax. A doctor named Kelly Johnson Arbor. She said that borax can cause stomach irritation and potentially result in blue-green vomit or diarrhea if you drink it.
That doesn't sound good.
Or what else?
I'm vomiting sea colors.
Yeah. What else did she say? It can cause seizures. Oh, and that soaking in borax can cause rashes that make your skin appear as bright pink as a boiled lobster, and then your skin falls off. So what the F? I don't understand this influencer's gimmick. Do they really have no clue what risks might come along with these products, or are they just so convinced that they're smarter than the people who make these products and put out the warnings detailing what we should and should not do with these products?
I think they actually think they're smarter than people who have trained their lives at this.
I mean, maybe I'm old school,
I don't
Cubby.
know. I think it's more of a bit.
You think so?
And I wonder how much liability they should have for putting this out there.
Really? Just a bit to hurt people?
Well, I don't know about to hurt people, just to see if they can get people to do it, and they're too dumb to come up with the consequences or think about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, some of this stuff, it's so obvious. Like the YouTube challenge about the fake kidnapping. Does anybody think that that's going to go over well? Or how about stealing cars? Does anybody think that's okay?
True.
Hey, you want a Kia or a Hyundai? Take it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm old school, but when I see a bucket of paint thinner that says not for human consumption, I believe it, But now it's, well, if you take a little paint thinner and mix it with ginger ale and bug spray. It makes a hell of a hair gel. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing anymore, Josh.
Insomniac Jesus said, TikTok is just China seeing how stupid our American youth is.
And I think they found their answer.
Very well could be. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with sports.
A couple of months ago, you said that Zach Greinke and I are a hall of very good ball players. You're looking down on us. A couple small market Midwest ball players. Just because we're not big city, just like you. Mr. New York City, Sirius XM radio star. Mr. National Television, ESPN star. With your Fifth Avenue ties and your crisp pocket squares, your tailored suits and your polished shoes. And your hair, your perfectly coiffed Broadway hair. Must be nice to sit atop that Madison Avenue ivory tower, looking down on us with those luscious locks. Not everyone can be the next Roger Peckinpah, Mad Dog. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a disgrace.
Joey Votto of the Cincinnati Reds. Funny guy. He went on television the other day and went after a television personality, Vince Russo. Not Vince.
Mad Dog Russo.
Vince Russo. Vince Russo, the nut job who used to work with WCW and WWF, right?
Yep.
Not Vince Russo. Mad Dog Russo? That was Joey Votto going after him. That's funny.
Yeah, he could maybe go into some sort of professional wrestling in the future.
Yeah. All right, real quick, I got to get out the way. The Twins are back this weekend with a series in Kansas City where today, Josh, it will be 102 degrees.
Ouch.
Swassy.
Now, I know it's a night game, but still, I mean, game starts at 7 o'clock. It's still going to be friggin' hot. Tomorrow, they play a 6 o'clock game. It's going to be 97 degrees. They play a day game on Sunday. It's going to be 94 degrees. So Dick Bramer wasn't kidding when we were talking about the heat that came through town here a few days ago. Dick Bramer said on Tuesday, he said, I'm going to get a face full of this for about a week and a half because they go Kansas City, then St. Louis. Going to be hot. Sunny Gray starts tonight. We'll talk all about it with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Dad Fights 69 plus 69 coming up. Also, we'll tell you what's on the schedule this year for that ESPN, the Ocho gimmick. They're still going with the ESPN.
That's
Josh's
fun.
news is coming up next.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Dr. Michael Bagnell.
In the brain, we have networks that work together. Think about like a toggle switch. Well, in the default mode network, where we have a sense of relaxing, taking things in, it's also where we have a hope generated for our future. Someone goes to military service, sees extremely traumatic things. They've just seen so much damage. They may end up shutting down this default mode network.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I'm wondering, how did she get down there? Where did she get in there at? And how on earth that officer ride that bicycle hurt her down there?
An Indiana woman in her 50s was plucked out of a storm drain Tuesday after rescuers noticed fingers sticking through a manhole cover. I don't know how they figured that one out. Officers from the police department's bike unit patrolling Indianapolis's Eastgate neighborhood when they stumbled upon the bewildering sight shortly before 3 p.m. Fire officials responded to the scene to remove the manhole cover by using ropes, chains, blocks of wood, a flashlight, and a giant clamp. It took over a dozen officers from the fire and police departments to yank her out. The woman, described only as 50-ish, appeared only slightly dirtied from her underground expedition and was found to be in good condition after she was taken to the hospital. A police spokesperson said the female had entered the sewer area in another location to explore when she got disoriented and lost her way. It's unclear how long she'd been wandering the underground tunnels or how far she had traveled before needing help.
You ever been curious about going down there, Josh?
Well, I was just going to mention, so we used to do cave exploring and that kind of stuff, and I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun when we were, teenagers. But never the sewer.
No.
Never once was interested.
And I don't think I could have asked any questions about that situation any better than that person you played to start. He's such a curious man.
In March, 5 Staten Island kids became lost in a storm drain after their curiosity over subterranean sewer overpowered them. They had crawled through an opening near the Burroughs Zoo and then walked for about a quarter of a mile before losing their way. So they entered a sewer next to a busy zoo. There's a lot of kid poop in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
A Australian dad has been arrested for just trying to help his daughter out while operating a riding lawnmower on the street in the opposite traffic lane while 4 times over the legal limit. Police allege they saw the 51-year-old driving the wrong way down a busy road just before 1 a.m. Sunday.
Townsville Highway Patrol. How much alcohol you had to drink tonight?
Well, it must have been a lot. When he was pulled over, he told the officer he was driving to his daughter's home. I just thought I'd drive this old girl over to mow my daughter's lawn, he said.
Not at 1 o'clock in the morning and not drunk. No, you're not going anywhere.
A police spokesperson said this might seem like a funny incident, but the harsh reality is if police hadn't been there to intervene, we could have been dealing with a serious traffic crash. A breathalyzer registered the drunken dad at .19, which is 4 times the legal limit in Australia.
The friggin' decisions we make when we're absolutely gooned.
It's 1 a.m. and he thought, you know whose lawn could use a trimming? It's going to drive over to his daughter's house.
Could you imagine if he made it to her house and then she wakes up at 1 in the morning because he's mowing her lawn?
Yeah, he's going to scalp it.
Hell?
He's going to, or leave a bunch of strips down there. Yeah, you're not going to do too well.
We had a situation a number of years ago where a buddy of ours got a new lawnmower. And so we went out drinking, and he tells us, hey, I got a new lawnmower. And so we all decide, well, then before our night is over, we have to go back to your house and take a look at this new riding lawnmower. So we did. We're drunk off our asses. We go back to our house, but it wasn't good enough at that point just to look at it. We had to fire it up. It's like 12:30 in the morning, right? We're whipping it around his lawn. I mean, we're not mowing, just driving it. And it was just, I mean, I was wondering how long before his wife inside the house absolutely snapped.
Yeah.
And sure as hell, after about 20 minutes, she whips open the window and she says, "Get off the lawnmower!"
I'd be so pissed.
Oh, it was so much fun.
You know, Nick, you've told me so many times to get a riding lawnmower because I want one so bad. And I just think my lawn isn't big enough to justify it. But I saw a guy, you know, in my neighborhood who's got an equally sized lawn. And he did look ridiculous on a riding lawnmower on that small of a lawn. But he did look like he was having fun.
They are fun. They are fun. And
I've never even been on one.
Oh, for God's sake, here's the deal, Cubby. I want you to get one. But at this point in your life, you do not need one because you have a friggin' kid living in the house.
Yeah, he's about tall enough to push the mower at this point.
It's time. It's time for him to take that responsibility away from you.
And he
then
will.
When he moves out the house, then go ahead and get... remember...
the only thing is I like to do it, you know?
Pushing? You like that?
I like mowing lawns quite a bit.
Well, I do too. I miss doing it.
Imagine, just trust us. You'll like it 10 times more when you're sitting there with a steering wheel and a little drink holder.
Oh, yeah. Some of my neighbors have lawn services, and watching those guys out there, they look like they're having a blast, whipping around on like the stand-up ones.
Yeah.
Man, those look fun.
I even put a suicide knob on my steering wheel for no reason at all. You know what
awesome.
I mean? Just so I can, you know. A number of years ago when my brother's son was... How old's my godson, your son now?
Well, I'm sure you're aware, you're asking for comedic purposes. He's 11.
11 years old. When my brother's son was about that age, early in the spring, I called my brother, and I said, hey, you know, my brother's son's name is Donnie, of course.
Weird.
I said to my brother, hey, if Donnie wants to make some money this summer, he can come over and mow my lawn. And my brother says this on the phone. Yeah, he ain't got the skill set for that.
The skill set.
How many skills do you have to have?
I said, that's what I said. I said, to mow a lawn? I said, you and I were mowing the lawn. He goes, yeah, don't even just get that out of your mind. That's not going to happen.
A bandaged Florida woman smirked during her mugshot despite having her ear bit off in a wild brawl at a house party.
This was a hell of a brawl, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it sure seemed that way. 18-year-old Dixie Stiles and 23-year-old Macy Regan, both arrested over a 4th of July fight, which broke out over a stolen vape pen. Deputies were called to the area over the brawl because several men at the party were fighting, and apparently it was a bunch of unsupervised minors. Both women were at that gathering.
Teenage kids, huh?
Yeah. Sometime after midnight, Regan attempted to leave and was confronted by Stiles, who accused her of stealing alcohol and vape pens. Regan then allegedly pulled out a handgun, but Stiles managed to knock the firearm away, and, of course, her last name's Stiles. She could do something like that. And a fight ensued. During that brawl, Regan allegedly bit off the top of Stiles' ear. Thank goodness there were commentators standing by. Stiles appeared to smirk during a mugshot, which featured a bandage wrapped around her head. Regan, also with a smirk, sported a black eye in her booking image. Both women suffered multiple bruises and lacerations as well. Police said an investigation of the fight is ongoing, but didn't provide further details about the women.
I saw that mugshot. You cute young ladies here.
Yeah, that's on 93X.com?
Yep.
Tearing each other limb from limb at the house party. You know, I don't care how old you are. These were teenage kids, but I don't care how old you are or how old you get. If you're at a house party and someone wants to make bets on what women might have a conflict, I'd always bet on Dixie and Macy.
Yeah.
Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to one house party where there was I can't call it a fight because it was a dude being held back. That was kind of, if that person who was holding him back walked away, wouldn't have done a thing.
Right.
But, you know, it's easier when someone's holding you back because you can look like you would do something. That's the closest I've ever come to seeing something like that.
You never went to a house party where there was a brawl?
Well, but then again, the amount of house parties I've been to, the odds aren't good.
My brother and I would fight at almost every house party.
There was this weird stage that this house that we used to party at all the time, they started holding like boxing matches, or like they would just like clear the living room. And at one point, like, it started with the guys would wear actual boxing gloves, and then it turned into just bare knuckles.
Yep.
Like,
They watched that Brad Pitt movie. What was that called again?
I was just going to say, when Fight Club came out, that happened in our school, too. Guys were just like, let's take turns punch each other in the face.
That's kind of when I stopped going to house parties. Because I don't want to watch people bleed. I don't want the cops getting called and there being blood everywhere.
Do you guys have a favorite part of the workup to a fight? Mine is when the guy takes his shirt off for no reason.
Just going to say that, when the shirt comes off, or when the girl takes the hoops out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question, Josh. I mean,
and I understand the theory behind it, you know, but I still think it's kind of funny when the shirt comes off.
And it all plays out the exact same every time.
Yep.
Every time. There's a build-up. There's some shouting from across the room. Then the shirts come off. Remember this, where we were about 19 years old and we had a party going on at my buddy's house. And he was a taller guy, not exactly beefy, but he was a tall dude. And his 15-year-old sister, who was trying to do homework in her room, comes out and says, "Shut up! I'm trying to do homework. That's all you guys do is scream and drink all night long. I'm sick of it." And my buddy says, "F you, go back to your room." And then they lock up. Like almost like the old wrestling test of strength, you know, where they're grasping each other's. This is like my 20-year-old buddy and his 15-year-old sister. And it's an even match, right? And the whole house party went deathly silent when he locked up in a battle of strength with his 15-year-old. And one guy in the whole party, total silence. One guy says, "Dude, is she gonna take you?" I'll never forget that.
Some sad news. We talked about this earlier, but Randy Meisner, a founding member of the Eagles who added high harmonies to such favorites as "Take It Easy" and "The Best of My Love," and then stepped out front for the ballad "Take It to the Limit," has died. Called the sweetest man in the music business by former bandmate Don Felder, the baby-faced Meisner joined the likes of Don Henley and Glenn Frey in the early 70s to form one of the most popular acts in history. A statement from the Eagles said he died Wednesday night in Los Angeles from complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Meisner was 77.
Boy, you know, you busted that news out on us right when we started the show, and I had no idea. I was such a big Randy Meisner fan and a fan of the classic Eagles lineup. That really, really sucks. It's tough. Very sad day.
It's too bad. You know, maybe you've already done it, but you might like. A lot of musicians are making tributes to him, and I'd imagine you probably like seeing some of those.
Yeah.
New music out this week, Seven Dust, Truth Killer. Seven Dust used to be the 93X house band.
Cool.
Remember you guys saying that they were kind of always around, weren't they?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's
such
cool.
a talented group.
They
such
were the
nice
Boogie
guys.
Woogie.
They were the real Boogie Woogie.
That's
for
right.
sure. Yeah, they'd play all of our shows. These are just really cool guys. Truth Killer, Seven Dust's 14th album, follows up 2020's Blood and Stone, which was the band's third straight to peak at number 2. Another new thing for your ears today, From Ashes to New, Blackout. If you're interested in those artists and even more new music each and every week on 93x.com, our notable new releases post runs down the best in new rock. Lots of stuff in theaters and on the small screen this week, including Disney's Haunted Mansion, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Winona Ryder, Jared Leto, Owen Wilson, and Danny DeVito. Haunted Mansion is about a single mom named Gabby who hires a tour guide, a psychic, a priest, and a historian to help exorcise her newly bought mansion after discovering it's inhabited by ghosts. Also in theaters, Talk to Me. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. On the streaming side, today on Apple TV Plus, The Beanie Bubble, a dramatic comedy about the Beanie Babies phenomena of the 1990s. It stars Zach Galifianakis and Elizabeth Banks. Now streaming on Netflix, Hidden Strike. 2 ex-Special Forces soldiers must escort a group of civilians along Baghdad's highway of death to the safety of the Green Zone. Jackie Chan and John Cena star in Hidden Strike. Airing today on Starz, the season 2 premiere of Heels. 2 rival brothers, one a heel and the other a face, grapple over their late father's wrestling business while vying for national attention in a small Georgia town. Sunday on AMC, or streaming now on AMC Plus, Dark Winds season 2. In 1971, 2 Navajo police officers are forced to challenge their own spiritual beliefs as they search for clues in a grisly double murder. The series is executive produced by Robert Redford and Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. I liked season 1. I don't know if anybody else has watched it.
I didn't see it.
Wapple, I think you dig it, especially. Yeah, Dark Winds is what that's called, and I sure did.
Isn't Rainn Wilson in that too?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays a scumbag. Rainn Wilson from The Office is in there. Then Sunday on HBO, the 3rd season finale of The Righteous Gemstones with back-to-back episodes. Arnold Schwarzenegger, 76 on Sunday.
Oh, man.
Tomorrow, Rush frontman and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Geddy Lee, 70. Then today, this NHLer wears number 11 on the ice, but he's number 1 on many a hall pass. Your friend and ours, Zach Parisi, 39. For Joe and the boys at Beyond Remodeling, good morning and thanks for listening. Shout out to St. Paul's Frogtown Football, headed to Kansas City for a tournament from Frogtown Football Jesus. Happy birthday Sunday to Tracker Driving Jesus from River Pisser Jesus.
Oh.
That's a new one to me. And happy birthday to Wireless Real Estate Jesus, Victory Motorcycle Jesus, Mom to Twin Boys Jesus, and Regular Tesla Guy Jesus. That's 93X News.
Coming up next, it'll be Dad Fight 69 plus 69.
I actually called him and advocated for him to take marijuana off the banned substance list. I just felt like it was becoming a thing around the country, around the world, that it was the stigma behind it wasn't as negative as it was before. It doesn't affect you in any negative way. And he agreed. I just enjoy the plant. I mean, as simple as that.
What did you tell Adam? How did you persuade him?
Well, he smelled it when I walked in, so I didn't really have to say much. You know what I'm saying? He kind of understood where this was going, and then it's the NBA, man. Everybody does it.
All right, it's Friday. It's our Friday broadcast, and we're getting there. Almost all of our favorite people are here. Randy Shaver, back home from San Diego. Hi, Randy.
Hello.
Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
And the Norwegian ox, Janel Klein. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on with Janel?
You know what? I know I'm late to this party, but I watched the first episode of Quarterback last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I finally got around to it.
And your thoughts on our boy Kirk?
I've always been a fan. I always have liked him. Just always nice and down to earth. I've always liked him. Yeah.
It seems that he's become the star of the show, not just in Minnesota, but nationally.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of fell in love with the guy.
How can you not like him?
Yeah, he's very
Just
likable.
so nice.
Well, you gotta watch it.
Janelle, that's why people don't like him.
I
Don't you know
suppose.
that?
You're right, Brad.
We want
You're right.
we want a little more of an animal.
Yeah.
It does seem like that's changed a little bit in some people's minds.
Yeah.
But you're right. Maybe people who didn't like him for that hate him more.
I want him to be a little less Mike Brady and a little more Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Randy Shaver, you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
Quarterback. That's my quarterback. Terrell Owens said back in the day while crying in front of the media and when they criticized Tony Romo. Well, I'm glad you liked the show.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep going with
Oh,
it?
for sure I will. I haven't had time, and I only did the first episode, so I've got a ways to go.
Any thoughts on Marcus Mariota or Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I like Patrick Mahomes. It's hard not to like him and respect what he does. I don't have an opinion on Marcus Mariota. I don't know.
Who is this new Janel who watches television programs?
Are you dating somebody?
Going to a movie.
Are you dating somebody new who likes to watch TV?
That's a great question.
Oh, how does it always come back to that, you guys? No, I just haven't had time, and I only watched one episode. I was like waiting for something, so it was just something to kill time.
All right, that's a great question, though, that maybe a boyfriend might have talked her into it.
It is. You guys are good little investigators.
Yeah.
Well, we're just nosy.
Yeah, that too.
Well, it's great to have everybody. Randy went off to San Diego to party for a little while. He's back. Oh, the audio that Josh played in our intro there. Does anyone here, amongst all of us, does anyone here, do they feel confident enough to go to a meeting with their boss high and smelling like marijuana cigarettes?
Well, I don't use, but yes.
Yeah, I would.
In this building, just if you said just a random boss, I'd say no. But in this building, I think you'd be safe.
Yes, our boss.
I'm talking about the big boss, not the dude that sits across. I'm talking about like in a couple.
The big boss in this building.
Well, I guess,
or even higher than that.
Yeah, like higher. In a couple weeks, we got some real big head honcho coming into the building, right? We've been emailed about it.
Yeah.
Would you feel confident? I'm not talking about the folks who run this nightmare specifically in this building. I'm talking about one of the honchos. Would you feel confident enough to go to a meeting with him or her high and smelling like grass?
No.
I personally would not. Not with those people.
Not the smelling part. That's the part that gets me.
Yeah, no, I would not.
Randy, you've been in
not
the
a boss
business.
Like that, but a boss I'm very familiar with, like the ones around here.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured they do.
Yeah,
They smell it.
Right.
Why can't I?
It's
like learning golf. You want to hang out with the boss, you play golf.
That makes perfect sense, Josh. For the bosses we have here in this building, I would be comfortable with a big old honcho. Because, say, Kevin Durant, the Durantula, he recently... Big story here. He recently put some money into a cannabis company. I almost never see stories anywhere about pro athletes and marijuana these days. But at one point or another, I'm not sure when, he went to go see NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to talk about drug testing in the NBA. He wanted to make it clear he was an advocate for the league to stop testing for marijuana. And I don't remember. Has that happened yet or not? I don't remember.
I haven't seen anything that says
Okay.
I haven't seen, but there's been talk about it.
But he went into the meeting, and he said he was high and smelled like geef to prove a point to Adam Silver. Now, of course, he's a big enough star and has enough money where he wasn't worried. You know, what is Adam Silver going to do, kick one of the biggest stars of the league out of his office or have some conflict there? Of course not. If this was Nickeil Alexander-Walker of the Timberwolves or something, I doubt he would have the same confidence to do that, but... Randy Shaver, you've been in the television business for a long time. You're fairly untouchable at this point. Who owns your television station?
Tegna.
Tegna. Would you go see the boss at Tegna?
Of course not.
No, you wouldn't.
But what about this close to retirement? That's got to change things a little bit.
No, I don't want to tarnish my reputation. Why would I do that? I want to go out the good guy, not the bad guy.
Oh, see, I want to go out a big-time heel. Big time. Yeah, so Durant said that David Silver, is that his name? Did I say that already?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver smelled the marijuana on him when he walked in And the Durantula said, I didn't really have much to say. He kind of understood where this was going. It's the NBA. Everybody does it. It's wine at this point. Right. Oh, see, I had an idea that maybe they had already stopped testing for marijuana.
I thought so, too.
So, I thought
They may have.
Hasn't that already happened?
I thought it did,
I remember talking about it.
Yeah, maybe a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone looked that up. I don't follow these kinds of things. And as you know, and I'm not trying to be cute with this, I'm wildly burned out on the topic of marijuana. What sports have stopped? Has the NFL stopped? I don't follow
The
these.
NFL has stopped.
Okay.
The NBA stopped last month.
Oh, last month?
Yep.
Oh, so it's very recent. Baseball, hockey, anyone know?
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. We'll get around to that. So there you go. Twins are back this weekend with a series in Kansas City.
2019 MLB removed marijuana from its banned substance.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
cool.
All right.
Baseball players can get high.
That was a long time ago.
How many years ago?
2019, he said.
That's 4 years ago.
And then the NHL tests for it, but no one's ever really been punished for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. You smoke pot, Janelle?
All the time.
Yeah.
That'd be so surprising.
If you were going to go just get a regular job, obviously not in sports, do they still drug test?
Oh, yeah.
Some places
They
do.
do?
Plenty
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we've talked about it before, and people text in and say they do.
Is that right?
especially if you're driving or
Yeah.
operating
Oh,
something.
yeah. That's true.
That's
I tried
dangerous.
to work at a grocery store and found out that grocery stores drug test.
Yeah.
You're
See,
like,
that's right.
see you later.
Well,
Yeah,
we've mentioned
basically, Dana. Yep.
it's been a while, Nick, but we've mentioned before in the many years ago they would threaten it, like okay, and our bosses would be like, in about 30 to 31 days, we're going to drug test. Give you enough time for it to get out of your system. But I've never been drug tested
Neither
ever
have I.
at any job.
No, it's never happened.
Did anyone say, "Oh, I just ate a lemon poppy seed muffin"?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know that they've ever actually done it here.
I don't think that anyone was ever tested. There was, like Josh said, there was conversation about it. There were 2-week warnings, a month ahead of time. Hey, you guys, we're going to test in a month, so let's get cleaned up.
Yeah.
We had those warnings and those announcements, but it never happened as far as I remember.
It'd pretty much just be Josh left in the building.
If they fired people for that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I'm a narc. I'm telling all you guys.
I haven't smoked drugs in a long time.
It's like they tried to do that at Red Robin. They were like, all right, everyone on the staff, we are thinking about doing drug testing. And all of a sudden we did like an impromptu kind of who did it, like who smoked it in the past. There was only 2 people in the kitchen staff that didn't smoke weed.
Oh, really?
Everyone else did. So there'd only be 2 people working.
Well, it's a kitchen staff.
Yeah,
Doesn't that
come
kind of go?
on.
Yeah.
So
That's like how many house painters would we have left,
when it's legalized nationwide, I mean, your boss can't tell you, hey, let's say you work Monday through Friday, that on Friday after work, you can use it, right? I mean, because you're going to test for it on Monday, correct? I mean, it stays in your system a while. That's why they gave us this long heads up. I wonder how that's going to work.
I have no idea. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, when's the last time you guys had to pee in a cup for marijuana testing?
Or a friend.
Not just for your own fun.
Have not.
Back in 2012, when I got hired by the Wolves, I had to go drug test before the employment was official.
Randy, you never have had to go?
I've never have, and luckily, when you guys hired me, you didn't care. So
No.
it was all good.
Well, when we first met you and hired you, I had a suspicion that you were on coke.
Yeah. Well, that's the TV people. That was you always heard.
I heard
TV
you
money.
You're burning the candle at both ends.
Can you imagine, Janelle? Can you imagine the first meeting between the 3 of us?
Oh my God.
You look like you were freshly off a rail.
That
you know
should
what
have
I mean?
been a reality show.
They kept sniffing.
Yeah.
I want to know how you didn't get drug tested at KARE. I did. What does that say?
You're from Faribault.
You're sus.
Exactly.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
They saw that you went to Faribault High School. And they said, this gal's on something.
This is it.
You got drug tested, Janelle?
I did.
How many
Well,
times?
Randy, you got hired back in what, 80?
1983.
They weren't drug testing back then.
Actually hired in 1982.
Well,
so-
no, but what I meant, Brad Ryder, is along the way, as
No,
along
once you're in, you're good.
companies change policies along the way and things like that. Yeah, I've never.
So people are texting in saying, even if you do it on the weekend, let's say it's your day off, certain jobs can still punish you for that. I wouldn't have thought that could be the case.
I'm not sure how that is if it's legal in a state.
That's what I was wondering. If once it'll be legal everywhere, right? I mean, it's going to happen. They're going to decriminalize it federally at some point. That's why I was wondering. Can they tell you on a Friday night you can't do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
The only time I could really see it is if you were high at
it depends
work.
on your job. It depends on your job and what you do, though, Josh.
Well,
right?
that's exactly what I'm asking you. Can a job? I mean, whatever job that
if
is.
you're flying an airplane or you're doing something that could endanger other people, I suppose that there would be some sort of restrictions like that.
Josh was saying something yesterday about what was the term? Drug WI? What the hell was it?
Yeah, a drug WI.
Drugging while in what the hell was
drug while driving? I can look it up.
Oh, drug driving.
Drug driving.
Yes. I had never heard that term until yesterday. There are some folks in town who, once all this marijuana is legalized, whatever's going on, there are folks in town who are worried about how many drug driving cases we're going to have on our hands. And I'd never heard that's kind of cute. Drug driving, drunk driving.
As if police don't have enough to do.
Right.
Well, seeing how we're talking about pot, and Josh mentioned earlier that Seven Dust has a new record coming out. Can I tell my Seven Dust marijuana story again?
I love that story.
This was many years ago. I was working with a guy who smoked more pot than any one of you sumbitches could even imagine. More weed consumed in a day than Wapple, Ashley, and Janelle could do in a month. He was an animal. There were times I really thought I was going to have to call his wife and say that he had passed away. He would take these. He was one of these monster hit guys. You know who I'm talking about? What I'm talking about? That was his thing. Was he would blow all the air out of his lungs and then go. I mean, it was you had to see it to believe it. And then he'd hold his breath and he would turn blue and then purple and then red. And it was just he was a monster with the weed. He loved weed all day, every day. And we worked on the radio. We worked here at the radio station together, and Seven Dust was coming to town for a concert. And we were on site. It was an outdoor show, and here comes their tour bus. And we had hung out with Seven Dust quite a few times. Like Josh said, they were like our house band in the late 90s. They were here for a show, it seemed like, twice a month.
Yeah.
They were always hanging out at the radio station.
We might as well have just given them keys to the building. They were here so often.
They were, and some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Matter of fact, Randy Shaver, I'm Eskimo brothers with the bass player. They were just great guys. So here comes the Seven Dust. How do I say that? Seven Dust bus. And my buddy with the all day, everyday marijuana intake, he's like, oh, let's go see Seven Dust. And I said, I don't really want to. They just got here. They're probably still sleeping from the night before. They had a show the night before. They pulled in the afternoon. I'm like, they probably don't want to be bothered. Let's not go. No, I got to give LeJean, that's the lead singer, who was a wonderful guy. I got to give LeJean a taste of this new marijuana that I bought, because Seven Dust loves marijuana, or at least they did back in the late 90s. So he talks me into it. Fine, let's go bother Seven Dust at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, because you want to give LeJean some weed. I went with him. And we were knocking on I didn't, but my buddy's knocking on the door of the bus. And LeJean answers the door. And he recognized both of us. Hey, what's up, fellas? And my buddy says, hey, LeJean, I want you to try this weed. And he already rolled a joint or something like that. And LeJean says, oh, dude, I just woke up. I don't really feel like. No, you got to try it. No, I don't really feel it. Maybe later, come see us. No, you got to try it. And LeJean finally says, okay, fine, I'll try it. And he takes a big hit. And LeJean holds the smoke in for a minute. And he blows it out. And he says, man, that's the boogie woogie.
All right, overwhelming. Thank you to the brother and sisterhood. Overwhelmingly, people are saying even if it becomes legal, marijuana becomes legal, like it will here next week, your company can still tell you, even in your personal time, you can't smoke pot.
All right.
That's interesting.
It's going to be 102 degrees today in Kansas City for the Twins-Royals game.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be the daytime high. They start at 7 o'clock. I imagine it's still going to be pretty close.
It'll only be 98 then.
Yeah.
102 degrees.
This is one of the worst baseball teams maybe ever. And that includes the Oakland A's.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Kansas City is 29-75.
Oh.
And they are absolutely awful.
Pretty bad.
This is a great opportunity for the Twins to get themselves righted after losing 2 straight. And Cleveland is starting to play better. They've won 7 of their last 10. So it's go time in Kansas City this weekend.
Sonny Gray starts tonight for the boys. Jorge Polanco is back?
He is.
Okay.
Third base.
The Royals are like the 1977 Charleston Chiefs. They got a lot of losses. What's this? Golden Gophers hockey star Logan Cooley has changed his mind. He's upped and left for the Arizona Coyotes.
That sucks.
That really does suck.
Yeah, he's changed his mind. A talented kid.
To leave in July and kind of leave a program. I mean, they still have a lot of talent coming back, but it's too bad.
Yeah, he's going to go.
Good for him. It's great for him.
Yeah, he's going to go pro.
Arizona must have upped their offer or something.
Faber's gone pro. Nyes has gone pro. Snuggerud still sticking around as of today. Boy, God, if Cooley would have roofed that. Remember in the title game was kind of a half-assed 2-on-1.
Early third period.
Yeah. That half-assed 2-on-1 they had, and he just blew it over the top of the net. If he would have scored that goal, he would have left anyway. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yep, probably right.
Do you think he left so he can get into a contract sooner, so he can get to his next contract to get a bigger payday sooner?
Wapple, it's as simple as this. 2 chicks at the same time. 2 chicks at the same time. That's why he left. Right, Janelle?
That's right.
He said that at a teary press conference.
Yeah.
I had a great time here, but 2 chicks at one time, man.
Tough to turn down.
What's this? Jim Marshall has to wait another year for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Why is that?
Well, it says here. The Hall's senior committee yesterday announced some kind of a cut down for semifinalists to get into the NFL Hall of Fame via the senior route.
Okay.
And he did not make the cut.
Oh, gosh.
Roger Craig made the cut, former running back for the Niners, and he spent a cup of coffee here with Denny Green and the Vikings. I really liked Roger Craig, but
I played against Roger Craig.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was an Iowegian. Janelle, Randy Shaver played high school football against a guy who's on the verge of going into the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I am so sad for Jim Marshall.
Yeah.
I interviewed him in person a couple of weeks ago, and he's not in the greatest of health.
Right.
He's a great man. I just feel so bad that a guy who never missed a game, never missed a practice in 19 years with the Vikings, is not in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the greatest front four to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Man. He held the record for all those years. It's
a shame. It's a wrongdoing.
It's just a wrongdoing. It's not right. And you ask any guys who played against him, any of them, they all say the same thing.
If
I
quarterback
just don't understand.
If quarterback sacks were credited, what's the sports term I'm missing? If quarterback sacks were counted or tracked when Jim Marshall was a player, he would have finished with 130 of them.
Which would tie, I think, Carl Eller for the most in Vikings history.
It's a shame. Well, here are the players who made the cut. The recognizable names. Ken Anderson. Ken Anderson was a good quarterback. He wasn't.
Well, if Ken Anderson is in, Jim Marshall is.
It's just an atrocity. It really is.
Randy Gradishar, Joe Jacoby, Steve Mongo McMichael, Sterling Sharp, Otis Taylor. Are some of the names you'd recognize that did make the cut.
I think Steve McMichael is in the latter stages of ALS.
He is. I saw a picture of him on Twitter the other day with some of his former Chicago Bears teammates, and it's really sad.
Oh, no.
Very sad.
It is really sad.
When I was a youth football player, I used to crack up my teammates by doing a Ken Anderson imitation. And you older folks are the only ones who could picture such a thing, but I used to crack my teammates up with my Ken. Remember how Ken Anderson, he only had the 2-bar face mask, and somehow it was so close to his face, it would somehow get tangled up in his mustache?
Sure.
That was the bit when I was a 6th grader. You had to be there.
So
I'm sorry to say that, Randy.
That
yes.
makes me so angry.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there's a story that Randy wants to share about Roger Craig. Was there anything memorable about playing?
Not really.
It was all a blur, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Randy just watched him cooking down the sideline.
To be honest with you, they beat us in the state semifinals my senior year. They're a very good football team. I don't recall anything that Roger Craig did specifically. I just knew he was part of that team. So,
Davenport High School.
Davenport Central. Yep.
It's a hell of a deal. All right, what else is going on here before we? Yeah. We got to get going here, but
God darn it!
I'm sorry, Randy, to make you mad.
I
probably shouldn't bring up Randy Meisner.
I really care about those guys. The Alan Page, Carl Eller.
I know you do.
Jim Marshall.
You're not alone.
I just don't understand how that's possible.
Yeah. If they would have won a Super Bowl, it would be a completely different story.
But Ken Anderson didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that should not.
I'm not talking about making the cut. I'm talking about. Come on, wait a minute now. You guys, I think it's obvious. Had the Vikings won a couple of those 4 Super Bowls, the narrative would be completely different.
I don't disagree with you.
Forget about Ken Anderson. I'm talking the big picture.
I mean, Page got in. Eller got in.
Yeah.
Bud got in. He didn't win a Super Bowl. Fran got in.
Tingelhoff
got in.
Those players would be just generally more respected, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But you can't say all of those other guys and not include Jim Marshall in that conversation.
Absolutely.
You just can't.
You're right. Next week, ESPN is going to do this Ocho thing again.
I love this.
You're a fan?
Yeah, it's fun.
I think it's funny, too.
And I just want to give you a quick heads up. We can talk more about it next week. Next Thursday, it begins. ESPN2 begins ESPN The Ocho, or becomes, I should say, ESPN The Ocho. And they run the silly sports that you wouldn't normally see on television, including a live Savannah Bananas game.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
That's sweet.
American Cornhole League. Table Hockey World Championships. Live Slam Ball. Can we just get that slam ball out of here already? It only has been on one day and it already is not working. An Auctioneer Championship.
I was going to ask about that. Have they done that before? That was new to me.
I think this is new, Josh.
Okay.
And it's from Wisconsin, some kind of Auctioneer Championship.
I mean, my favorite is the slippery stairs by far.
Oh, my damn.
Needs to be an Olympic sport. It's long overdue.
It's fun.
The slippery stairs. They plant a couple of babes up on top of the stairs. Everyone's, and they're wearing bikinis, and everyone's soaked in KY. Jesus, they should show that at bachelor parties.
That's so good. How many times do you think, that person's won, and then they go straight down the stairs
and take out everybody?
And take everyone else out. Yeah.
Arm wrestling. Stein holding competition? Stein holding?
Beer mugs.
Well, yeah, but
okay.
What do you mean? You just hold it up?
How many you can probably hold at once?
Oh, I was just picturing a guy holding a big-ass Stein at Oktoberfest and a referee. I didn't understand. Corgi races.
Those are fun.
Dog surfing.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
That's abusive. That is abusive.
They look excited.
No, you're thinking of a different dog surfing. They put a dog in the water. You surf on top of the sumbitch.
What?
He's struggling to breathe. He wants no part of it. You're thinking of a totally different kind of dog surfing.
So, yeah.
Let her buck, Wapple. Yes, sweaty bastard Jesus, you texted into the program. My answer is yes to your question about why I don't like slam ball. He assumed that I didn't like slam ball because it insists upon itself. Yes, you're correct. That's why I don't like it.
You don't like anything that insists upon itself.
No, I don't. You're right about that. Fridays always lead to a trivia matchup between our fellas here, Randy Shaver, the ass man, and Brad Ryder, the lonely boy, folks call him. Brad, you might be up against it here because Randy's really pissed since I told him that Jim Marshall information.
Yeah, I know.
He's driven. We went ahead and named this whole gimmick Dad Fights. Today marks the 138th edition of this rivalry, and yes, some of you are already aware the 138th Dad Fights means it's officially Dad Fight 69 plus 69. Janelle, some of our listeners have been waiting on this, well, for about 100 episodes. Mm-hmm. They haven't been this excited since Dad Fights 69. So because of the excitement and the enthusiasm surrounding today's edition of the game, we have to go along with the joke. Some of our listeners would run us out of town if we didn't acknowledge the sexual connotations involved here. So for the subject of today's Dad Fight, and with the number 69 being in play, today we'll be quizzing you two boys on the topic of sexual acts that directly inhibit a person's ability to breathe clearly.
Come on. Whatever.
Randy, I like your chances.
You should be the favorite. You teach that class.
That's true. Do you teach
breathe.
that?
I don't think we got that deep into the topic when I taught that class.
Do you teach it at the sex cabin?
How to breathe.
That's where he practices it.
Sexual acts that directly inhibit a person's ability to breathe clearly. Josh will get us started with. No, but we did go ahead and keep the magic number of 69 in mind. The 69 position. It takes two. You need somebody to be the 6 and somebody to be the 9. I don't have to tell Randy or Brad that. No, I don't. By God, I don't. It takes two. So today our Dad Fight subject will be great duos from pop culture. Sports, movies, television, music, entertainment, on and on and on. We'll throw some hints and information at you. You boys name this wonderful duo. And here's the good news. As you know, you've been dad fighting for a long time. As you know, you can jump in and answer anytime you think you have the answer. The good news is, by the end of each challenge, we'll give you one half of the duo. We'll just up and tell you. Like, say, if I used you two as an example of a terrific duo, which would be a wild exaggeration, but I'd say, something along, these two do this and that on the radio. One is a television anchor. The other is a youth softball stalker.
Not after this weekend. This weekend's the last weekend ever.
And then I would say, one is Randy Shaver. Who is the other? That's how it's going to play out. Are you able to follow this?
Sure.
Yep.
You can jump in and name the duo, both of them, anytime you want during the question. But by the end, we'll give you half the duo, and you only have to name the other half. Wow. You'll do well. You'll do well. If you're correct, you'll hear the bell. Incorrect, you'll hear Janelle's fart.
Oh. Amazing she can do that on command.
10 challenges plus a tiebreaker if necessary. There were lots of folks, weren't there, Wapple, who wanted in on the Dad Fight 69 plus 69 intro.
Oh, yeah. We had 6 people that wanted to do just this one. And like I said, I was like, sorry, I already have someone in line. Do you want to do a different intro? And they said no.
No. No. A different one? No.
There's a lot of pressure on this one.
You know who won? Who won the challenge or who won the opportunity? It would be I'll Try Anything Twice, Jesus.
We got a very nice number for you in Dad Fights today. Today is Dad Fight 69 plus 69. And for those of you who math much good, that is Dad Fights 138. I am I'll Try Anything Twice, Jesus, coming at you from lovely New Prague. I am the dad to 3 beautifully ungrateful daughters. Today we got the same 2 epically mediocre fossils going at it. On one side over here, boasting 58 Dad Fight wins, we got Team Randy, that's sponsored by Erdeberger Water Sports, where they specialize in underwater golf cart recovery as well as swimming lessons for the elderly. Right behind him over here with 55 Dad Fight wins, we got Team Brad. Team Brad is sponsored by, well, actually nobody, because let's be real, Brad's about as talented as Nick's pitching coach.
No. That was a double slam.
Will be taken out of this portion of broadcast due to the fact that Brad is a huge sissy and will not give up his song title, so we don't really have anything to play. With all that being said, let's get these guys their Metamucil and denture glue and get the geriatric Olympics going. This is Dad Fight 69 twice.
Wow, thanks very much. I'll try anything twice, Jesus. If you want to be an intro, if you want to do an how do I say that, Josh?
Yeah, do an intro.
If you want to do an intro for us for a Dad Fights episode, send an email to hams93x@gmail.com. Give us your name, give us your phone number. Wapple will call you. It'll sound something like this. Hello? this is Wapple from the...
Spot on impression.
Has anybody ever hung up on you when you say who you are? It's like, well, I got to take a call from a telemarketer, dude.
That'd be great.
Famous duos, Randy and Brad. Listen carefully, and like I said, if you don't jump on it early, we will give you one half of the famous duo at the very end of each challenge.
Like every all-time great duo, it's impossible to think of one of these comedic legends without the other. They've been making fans belly laugh since the 80s in musicals, TV specials, live tours, and movies, including Three Amigos and Father of the
Martin and Martin Short.
And Father of the Bride. Yes, Steve Martin and Martin Short is the correct answer. The duo met while filming Three Amigos and said their comedic chemistry started immediately. They currently star in the Hulu show Only Murders in the Building, with the third season debuting next month on the 8th.
That show's fantastic.
I like that one too, yeah.
1-0 Brad Ryder, Steve Martin and Martin Short. Really, they never met until they, what's the word I'm looking for?
Filmed Three Amigos?
Filmed Three Amigos.
That surprised me too.
Cool.
Martin Short might be the funniest man who has ever lived. Might be the funniest man who has ever lived. There are very
talented.
Very
Who was
few.
the third amigo? I forget.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
I
was,
loved that movie.
Chevy Chase was totally unnecessary in that movie.
I totally disagree.
1-0 Brad Ryder. Speaking of movies, no movie was safe in the 80s and 90s from scathing criticism from this pair of Chicago-based movie critics.
Siskel and Ebert.
Brad.
Their show ran for 13 years.
Yep.
One is Siskel. Who is the other? Siskel and Ebert is correct, Brad Ryder.
Do you guys watch that show? I watched it every week.
No.
I did. Yeah.
Every week.
I watched
love Roger Ebert.
a little bit of it.
Boy, and you just never knew when those two were going to go after each other. That could get contentious.
Yep.
Did they dislike each other?
No.
No, they talked about that a few times in interviews.
Well, it says here
at first they didn't like each other very much, but then that changed.
Gene Siskel died. It says in his eulogy for Gene Siskel, Roger Ebert said they got asked all the time about if they hated each other. He said there were days at the beginning of our relationship when the honest answer sometimes was yes. But over the years, they respected each other.
Well, they wrote for competing newspapers.
Right.
They were always competing.
And then after the one died, the other one continued to do the show for a long time.
Right.
I remember that.
I like watching that dude with the hairdo.
Oh, and the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gene Shalit.
Gene Shalit, that was a guy.
He looked like a crazy person.
Yeah, he did.
It's 2-0 Brad Ryder. Dad Fight 69 plus 69. Famous duos.
People came unchained for this singer and guitar player combo who experienced an eruption of fame from 1975 to 1985. Their band, whose name...
The Righteous Brothers.
That's the dumbest answer I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Their band, Randy, whose namesake featured one of this duo's last names, sold out concerts from here to Panama. The singer would eventually jump between his solo career and two more stints with the group before they disbanded in 2020. The legendary guitar player is Edward Van Halen, named the singer.
David Lee Roth.
How do you feel about your answer now, Brad?
Well, not very good. I think the Righteous Brothers sang a song called Unchained Melody or something. That's right. Yeah.
I see where you were going with that.
Some analysis, the complex technical demands of a Van Halen tour ultimately had a notable side effect on modern music, even today. That'd be the same thing. The band's now infamous rider specified a bowl of M&Ms was to be placed in their dressing room, with the brown ones removed. Roth later said this wasn't because they wanted to be divas, but rather a way to ensure the venue actually read the technical requirements for a Van Halen show. If they found no brown M&Ms, the tech crew could assume the electrical, structural, security, and safety requirements in the rider had been thoroughly observed.
Interesting.
David Lee Roth and Edward Van Halen. Speaking of 70s rock, did you guys hear the bad news? Randy Meisner from the Eagles died?
Yes.
I did see that yesterday. Yeah.
Bums me out earlier.
I was so fortunate to see the Eagles a few years ago in St. Paul. It was unbelievable concert.
Yeah.
It was so good.
They're one of the best to ever do it. When they were in their prime, nobody could touch.
So good.
Nobody could touch the Eagles.
Are you going to go to one of the shows in November, Randy, at the X? They're coming back, 2 shows.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
Probably not, because I've seen them now, and what I saw was I can't top it, so probably not.
Earlier, earlier Josh played live 1977 Eagles performing Take It to the Limit with Randy Meisner on lead vocals. One of the most beautiful things you'll ever hear. All right, it's 2-1, Brad. Continuing on with our dad fight here about great duos. Not all famous duos get along 100% of the time. Plenty of stories went around about the tumultuous relationship between these two basketball teammates. It never really showed on the court, where the two of them led the Los Angeles Lakers.
Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
I heard you take your breath on that one, Brad.
A little more info.
3 straight titles. Yes, Shaq and Kobe. After Kobe's death, Shaq revealed one of his biggest regrets was not calling Kobe more often the last few years before he died. Shaq said, "Call your mom, call your brother, call the homeboy you used to party with in college. Forever is a long time." That makes it 3-1, Brad. Good one.
This famous fictional film duo have been on plenty of adventures together over the course of 4 movies. They've survived torture from a sadistic neighbor kid named Sid, narrowly avoided getting kidnapped to Japan, and escaped a disturbing preschool. They're also the only duo on the list that consists of a cowboy and a space ranger. This Toy Story...
Bob and Doug McKenzie? I don't know. I was taking a shot.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
You're going to feel great on this one, too, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the Space Ranger, Doug McKenzie.
They were a couple of...
Woody and Buzz.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Woody and Buzz Lightyear.
I love you, Brad.
They were a couple of beer-drinking Canadians that worked at the brewery.
Yeah, right.
We're talking space rockets and whatnot.
Okay.
Tom Hanks, of course, ended up as the voice of Woody in the movies, but the original plan was to have actor Paul Newman voice the toy cowboy. Wow. Also, all the video game and toy versions of Woody are voiced by Hanks' brother, Jim.
2-2 now, huh, Wapple?
No, 3-2.
3-2, Brad Ryder.
And I've never seen those movies, so I don't feel bad about my answer. It's fine.
Oh, even your kids weren't into them?
No.
Kind of surprised.
I saw the first Toy Story. I didn't give a rat's ass. Listeners are texting in wondering, Brad, if you are high.
Because we can test for that.
3-2, Brad Ryder is the score. 3-2. Oh, well, speaking of space, cruising through space can get lonely. So thankfully, this intergalactic and interspecies duo had each other to lean on. One was a handsome smuggler. The other was a 7'5" Wookiee. One is Han Solo. Who is the other?
Chewbacca.
That's right. And now we're tied. Mm-hmm. Han Solo and Chewbacca's. It says here the character of Chewbacca's was inspired by Star Wars creator George Lucas's big, hairy, Alaskan Malamute dog named Indiana.
I love those dogs.
Lucas said the dog would always sit in the passenger seat of his car like a co-pilot, and people would confuse the dog for a person. And yes, the dog's name also inspired the character, Indiana Jones.
That's interesting.
That is kind of a cute story. Mm-hmm. We are tied talking famous duos. Brad, what do you think so far, Janelle? Has this been the most exciting 10 minutes of your... Can you believe he said Bob and Doug? All right.
These two best friends and roommates have been entertaining kids and adults since
Bert and Ernie.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, we were going to talk about the movie or the show Bosom Buddies with also Tom Hanks. Wow, that was great. Yes, they were there with their pals Big Bird and Grover from the famous street they live on. Ernie may be Bert's best friend on the show, but there's someone who's much closer to the one-eyebrowed puppet. Bert has an identical twin brother named Bart. He made a brief appearance on an episode of Sesame Street in 1974.
No, I think I have memories of that.
Since its premiere, over 500 celebrities have appeared on Sesame Street.
God, Bert and Ernie, man. They were a big part of my life.
So good.
Grover, when I was a little kid, my idol, before Davy Jones and Paul Stanley, my idol was Super Grover.
That's amazing.
I thought he was just, oh my God, I would come running
what
to
a
the...
visual that is. Nick with Super Grover.
Yeah, I would come running to my parents' black and white television in my little underwears to see Super Grover go flying through the... Now what's the score, Wapple?
4-3, Randy.
There's some dramatic comebacks in our dad fights lately.
We sure have.
Okay, here's your next challenge. This Hall of Fame quarterback and wide receiver duo paired up for 961 receptions, 12,000 yards, 112 touchdowns.
Brady and Gronk.
All right, Randy decided to jump in there, and I get it. That is incorrect. He said Tom Brady and that douchebag Aaron Gronkowski, whatever his name is.
Rob.
Brad, I'll keep going.
Okay.
They also won Super Bowl 41 together in 2007 when their Colts beat the Bears. One is Peyton Manning. Who is the other?
Marvin Harrison.
That is exactly right.
Not Doug McKenzie.
I don't think he played football.
Peyton Manning has gone on record saying that the records that they share together will never be broken. The receptions, the yards, the touchdowns. And Brad has taken a 4-3 lead.
No,
it's 4-4.
It's all tied up at this point.
Has there ever been a dad fight?
Math is not your strength.
Has there ever been a dad fight where I had the score correct more than once?
No.
Yeah, that's just my thing.
This fictional film duo, consisting of an eccentric scientist and a high school kid, had adventures in 1985, 1955, and even...
Doc and Marty.
Wow. Doc and Marty. Of course, Back to the Future. Along with making public appearances at different conventions with some of his Back to the Future co-stars as of late, Michael J. Fox has been getting publicity for a recent documentary about his life called Still, a Michael J. Fox Movie on Apple TV+. I watched that, and it reminded me of how much I love Michael J. Fox.
Same.
Anybody else watch that? So it was me and Dana?
No, I haven't seen
Never
it.
saw it.
So good.
I think you'd like it, Nick.
When you guys were 17, did you hang out with the creepy old guy in the neighborhood?
Maybe go back in time with them.
Wapo, did we miss something there?
What?
What's the score? I have no idea what's going on.
5-4, Randy.
Yeah. 5-4, Randy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, so Brad can still tie it.
Yep.
With our final challenge. This is very exciting. Josh, don't you think I'd be even more excited if I could follow what was going on?
You should pay attention sometimes. It's fun.
I can never keep up with the score. Never, ever. So it's 5-4, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
A know-it-all mailman and an accountant made for this perfect, iconic bar duo from a television sitcom that debuted in 1982. By the time it
Norman Cliff.
Could not think of their names.
What a duo that is.
That is the best.
Darn it.
I loved those guys.
Could not think of their names.
Did anyone catch Randy go?
I just about said Norman. It was too late.
It was like you were about to sing "Puttin' on the Ritz" from Young Frankenstein. We're tied. Yes, Norman Cliff from Cheers.
I like it when we come to a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff.
Why not, Cubby? Why not hit him with it?
And this is an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
No list of iconic duos would be complete without this pair of heroes. After all, they're nicknamed
Batman and Robin.
Fatality.
Oh my gosh.
How about that, Brad? How you like me now?
I'm surprised you didn't say Chris Hemmingsworth.
Gas Pipe Jesus said his new favorite duo is Brad and his pal, The Worst Possible Answer.
That was a total shot in the dark, and you got lucky.
That was a hell.
That was good.
A hell of a dad
You
fight.
didn't even get a clue. You just shouted it out.
Well, I said heroes, and that's I think
okay.
maybe I got that far. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you did.
We don't have to wrap up every dad fight with you whining, Brad. We just don't have to. That was very exciting. Nice work, gentlemen. Randy was going this way. It looked like he was down. He comes back.
Janelle, you and I have one thing in common. Movies are not our friends.
You're way better than I am.
I didn't get any of the movie ones right.
But Randy's good, though.
Yeah, well,
I
in the
feel
movie
bad,
stuff,
Brad.
Yeah,
just ask him. Nice job, Randy Shaver and Brad Rutter. Thank you for everything, and we will talk to you on Monday.
See ya.
Okay.
See you boys later. Janelle's going to stick around. We'll be back.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X. KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, man. It's Who Really Gives an F Friday here on the Half-Assed Morning Show. We're pretty laid back today, Janel Klein.
I love it.
You like that vibe?
You're cool with that?
I do.
Thanks for coming in to see us. It's television star Janel Klein. Thank you.
I love being here. Great way to end the week.
Yeah, it's been so hot. It's been so hot.
So hot.
It drives some people crazy.
Yeah.
Were you out of town earlier this week?
You know what I did? No, I was working in town. I did a feature for Good Morning America about the ballpark food at Target Field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was this week.
Yeah, it was fun.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
You had a good time?
It was good, yeah.
Did you try anything?
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite?
We had some noodles and like kind of this, I don't know how to describe it, sausage and noodles kind of dish. I don't remember what it was called, but
was
it
that
was
from
really
the
good.
Soul Bowl?
Could have been.
I had a something or another from the Soul Bowl at a ball game a year ago or so, and it just knocked my socks
So good.
smooth off.
Yeah.
Soul Bowl. I'm not familiar with that.
So I think I have the correct
It
name.
could be.
I think they also.
It's a cool name.
They park a van or something, I believe, at the state fair too.
It's possible.
Maybe
yeah.
look them up. Maybe I hope I got the name right.
Yeah, you are right. I went to like the media day when they previewed the new food that was
Yeah.
going to be at the stadium this year, and they
Yeah.
had Soul Bowl there. That place is phenomenal.
Did any of the twins ask for your phone number or anything while you were at the ballpark?
Well, it was like 3 a.m, so no one was there.
Oh, yeah. How's your love life, Janelle?
It's so good, you
Is it?
guys. Oh, God.
Look what bad it is.
Good.
We could do a whole show just about that.
How's your love life? It's
My
good?
love life might be in trouble.
Is that right?
I'll be honest.
What'd you do? You want to talk about it?
Well, maybe I did do something. I don't know. So my wife, she loves it when I talk about her back door, and she's getting a colonoscopy today.
Ah, good luck to her. Is this her first time?
Yeah.
Okay. Is she nervous?
She has been nervous, and I had told her, don't sweat it. I was terribly nervous, and it was fine. It was fine. If you're concerned, or even when they recommend it, go do it. I understand. I wanted to put it off the rest of my life, but so here's the issue, right? So you can't eat for like 24 hours or whatever it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She gets hangry, more so than anyone I've ever met. She is such a sweet, nice person, but she is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when it comes to not eating. There is a different person there. We have to, as the family, say, all right, because she carries around purse tuna, right? She carries around snacks, things like that.
Tuna.
We have to make sure she has her snacks, otherwise she's just a bear to be around.
Yeah.
So last night it started, because she stopped eating like at 1 yesterday.
Oh, God.
And so I'm scared to go home. But I got to drive her there.
You got to take her to the joint.
Yeah.
For the probing, and then I'm trying to remember when I got backdoored. how long I had to wait even after the procedure. Can you eat right after the?
I thought you could, because I swear we went.
I'm fairly sure I went to
We
Subway.
went to get food right away.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was like, I need €1. We went to Dino's.
But by the time they're done with this operation, and not specifically, not literally an operation, by the time they're done with this procedure, it's going to be a good 24 hours.
Yeah.
Since she's had something to eat. So, yeah, you might get a artery torn out of your neck or something on the car ride over there.
Whatever you do, Josh, don't eat something in front of her.
Okay, I made that mistake last night.
No.
What did you have, like a double cheeseburger with fries or so right in front of her?
No, we ordered noodles.
All right.
No, and you had noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd kill
Hey,
someone.
what can you do? I mean, that is the most miserable part of the whole process, is sitting and not eating and drinking that swill that they give you, so...
Well, I during the week, I don't see her very often, and I wanted to kind of hang out, and I had said, do you mind if, we eat in front of you? And she said, fine. Yeah, she was cool with it, but I don't think she was as cool with it as she let on. So I'm scared, because, we've been texting a little bit and emailing a little bit back and forth, and her responses are very short.
Oh.
Very short.
It sucks.
Yeah.
She's been awake already for a couple hours waiting on you. You pick her up, you take her to the...
Yep. And you know how it is, Nick, because your brother was a power lifter. And like when I used to go to the gym a lot, and you'd hang out with those guys that were getting ready to compete.
Yeah.
And they're eating less, they're not drinking any water, that kind of stuff.
They turn into rabid hyenas,
Yeah, it's rough to be around that.
Well, yeah, we can sympathize, you and I specifically, with what your old lady's going through. That sucks.
Josh, you should use this as an opportunity to have lunch ready for her when she gets done, to just, go the extra mile.
Boy, but then I have to make lunch.
No, you can
Pick
just
it up.
get takeout.
Get noodles.
Oh,
She
yeah.
didn't have noodles.
Oh, Ashley, yeah.
There we go.
Buy her exactly what she had to watch you eat last night.
Right?
That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, I'm legitimately not looking forward to this.
That's funny.
She'll be nice to one of you guys. Why don't you guys give her a ride? I'll pay you to drive her there.
I'll do that for you.
Yeah, I'll pay you.
And it's all that exercising that she does that makes her appetite over the top, as opposed to a regular sedentary human being like the rest of us. I think I got the right word there. Yeah, you burn off all those calories.
I feel bad too, because I had told him it's really not as bad as you'd think, the not eating thing. I didn't think you didn't think it was miserable. I mean, that was the worst part, but
I wasn't nearly as miserable as I thought I would be.
Yeah, me too. I handled it better than I thought.
Yeah, I did too. But man, that first meal was lights out. All right. Good luck to, Josh and his wife.
Yeah, good luck to her as well. Secondary with her procedure. A distant second.
I hope she doesn't attack you, as soon as you put her in the motor vehicle. You know who's having trouble with their love life, aside from Janel Klein? My buddy Lanahan. Maybe I should hook the two of you up.
Lanahan.
Yeah, Lanahan. He likes to work out. He's about 51 or something like that.
The working out thing, that's a deal breaker.
You don't like guys who work out?
I like to eat too
He's
much.
cute. He wears nice clothes. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that this is a lifelong friend of mine, but if you saw his wardrobe, you'd think, there's no way he hangs out with me. He's a cute guy. Maybe if you feel like, I'll hook you up with Lanahan.
Are you in the market? You kind of had a look like, what are you talking about? Did you guys notice that look she had?
Yeah, definitely.
What, was I speaking a different language? I'm trying to hook you up with Lanahan.
I'd be honored to be hooked up with Lanahan. And after today, I might need that hookup.
So, failed relationships. Let's get into that for a minute or two. We've all been a part of failed relationships, which probably would be the end result of Janel Klein and Lanahan, but I'm just trying to help a couple of friends out here. I'm getting looked at funny from the across the room. My failed relationships total is in the double digits, so I know a thing or two. Some relationships end because of one bad thing. For others, it's a combination of factors. Like, say, one person wants to have kids, you don't. A new survey...
That's a big one, right?
Yeah,
That,
sure.
financial issues, that kind of thing.
A new survey asked people what has contributed to their failed relationships and asked them to check all that apply. And what I have in front of me are the 10 most popular culprits for a failed relationship. I have a top 10. So these are the top 10 reasons that the most people clicked on or checked when filling out this survey. Does anybody want to guess a number one answer for why a relationship failed?
Money.
Cheating.
Money has been said aloud. Okay.
Cheating.
Cheating.
No,
I thought you said TV at first. It's like, all right. Is that why you don't watch it?
Yeah.
Cheating, money, anybody else?
Family.
Yeah.
Cable? What?
Kids.
Kids.
like their parents.
Kids and okay. You mean one person wants to have kids, the other does not? Like we mentioned?
They don't see eye to eye on that big life decision.
And Wapple says, like crazy family members, I'm not dialing into this family because my mother-in-law would be a raving lunatic kind of a thing.
Can't get along with the family or something.
That would suck.
Okay. I'm sorry to tell you that none of those fell into the top 10.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wait. I have another one. Can I go again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sex.
Sex.
I just say that weird.
Okay. I have a top 10. Ashley, bad sex was all the way down at number 18.
Oh.
Okay. So what played out here is a little more specific types of problems. Number 10, never washing the dishes.
Me and my boyfriend have already made the agreement that I don't do dishes. It's not my thing.
Do you
Hate
have
it.
something that you say, I don't do dishes, but I'll do this?
I cook.
You cook.
So.
Well, that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That sounds fair. If ever a woman has cooked for me, I at least make somewhat of an effort to handle some of the after effects of cooking dinner. Sure. Number 9, being too messy has killed enough relationships to make the top 10. Being too messy.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. I'm neat, and I've had some messy exes.
So I'm going to say these two, right? So my wife is very messy, and she will not do dishes. She will not hand wash dishes. And it has not yet affected our relationship.
Every damn woman that I've ever spent significant time with has been messy. Slobs. I'd even go as far as to call them slobs. And
I dated a girl that was kind of the opposite. She was obsessed with cleanliness and organization and stuff like
I've never been with one of those.
And how was that, Josh? Would you rather have someone that is obsessed with it or someone that doesn't care?
Do you have an idea what you just asked me on the radio? After I told you my wife is a mess and doesn't do dishes?
Oh, I know.
Number
But
8.
my lack of an answer may answer that question.
Number 8 on the list of the biggest factors in failed relationships. Being too talkative. You talk too much.
Oh, no, I'm screwed.
Many years ago, I had a short relationship with a lady, and she was a talker. Talker. And we broke up, and a buddy of mine asked me about her. He said, Missy was so nice. What happened there? And the truth was that part of the reason why we didn't make it for very long is because she just talked and talked and talked. I hate to sound like a prick, but there were other factors, but that was part of it. And I told him, I said, sometimes the jaw jacking just made me crazy. And he looked at me kind of like the way Janelle looked at me a few minutes ago when I tried to set her up with my friend Lanahan. My buddy looked at me when I cited too much talking as a reason why I broke up with this lady. He looked at me like, what's the matter with you? So maybe a month later, this buddy and I are out together and we run into this ex-girlfriend of mine. And we hung out with her for a couple hours at the bar. And as my buddy and I are walking out the bar, he says, I get it now.
Did you tell her that when you broke up?
No.
What was your reason? What did you tell her?
Oh,
You said she was ugly.
I told her.
Yeah. I'm breaking up because you're ugly.
You're really ugly.
This was so long ago, Janelle, I really don't remember what kind of spin I put on it.
Well, it must have been good because she still wanted to hang out with you.
Oh, we ended on nice terms. It wasn't anything terrible. Like I said, it was a brief relationship. Number 7 on the list of the biggest contributing factors to failed relationships. Like I said, you guys named some real broad subjects: sex, money, family. This stuff got Number 7 is not liking a specific food. What do you mean you don't like mac and cheese with hot dogs cut up on the top? What do you?
You know what? I would never be able to date someone that like didn't eat cheese, like didn't like dairy. They're lactose intolerant. I wouldn't be able to live that life.
But you could still eat it.
I know, but I want them to experience it with me.
What the hell kind of weirdo are we?
Yeah, I want to go to the cheese store together.
Well, you could still go, couldn't you?
I guess.
I think I'd brandish a hand weapon if any girlfriend ever looked in my eyes and said, "Experience dairy with me. Do it. Do it or I won't love you." Like, wait a minute. Number 6 is poor manners.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I can't hang out with rude people.
Oh, yeah, if they're rude to someone, an employee somewhere, whatever.
Bad friggin' manners. Oh, no, Ashley. In the top 5 of the reasons why relationships go down the crapper, in the top 5, being too obsessed about their pets. You're doomed.
I'm good because my current boyfriend loves his dog. If not as much as I love my dogs, maybe even more.
Yeah, but in the long run, he's going to say, if she says one more thing about dogs, I'm burning the house down. I swear to God, I'll burn the house down.
They're just going to be missing one day.
Being too obsessed with their pets.
Speaking of burning the house down, we do have a running joke at our house that my wife would save the kids, then the dogs, then maybe a couple of purses, and then me. If there's time. I mean, if there's time. But I have told them before, if I'm sleeping, don't wake me up even if there's a fire. I need it. Just let me sleep.
At least you know where you stand.
Yeah, that's true. I'm fine with it. And you know what? I get it. That's probably my order I'd have as well.
Even the purses?
Yeah, go ahead, take those.
Don't text me stupid questions. 2 pumps and a quiver, Jesus. Don't waste my time with stupid questions via the text machine. I just said something or another about mac and cheese, and he says, how do you feel about mac and cheese with ketchup on it? You know the answer to that already. Don't ask me stupid questions. I'm sorry that me and 2 pumps and a quiver, Jesus, had to make that scene right there.
Well, you had to, this is the only way you guys will move on.
You want to know why else folks break up? No sense of humor, or the two of you have a very different sense of humor.
Yeah, you got to be able to laugh together.
How do you guys think, sometimes there's the person that's very outgoing and the person that's very shy, or maybe more than sometimes. It seems that's a pretty common pairing.
I've seen that dynamic before, sure.
Do you know anyone that there's 2 lives of the party and they get along real well? I can't think of one. I'm sure I'm missing something.
I've tried to be in relationships like that, and it crashed and burned.
Well, when have you been the life of the party? So you're saying no, it doesn't work?
It didn't work out, at least not in this situation. And there were other factors too. Like it was just a wild, tumultuous roller coaster of a disaster relationship.
Oh yeah, I was seeing somebody.
That sounds fun. Did you hear that, Janelle?
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster of a disaster of a failed.
That's something.
Yeah, we were picturing what was going on in the bedroom, and I bet that was a blast.
That's probably why it lasted 3 years, Josh.
3 years? Wow, that's a chunk of time.
Wapple, I people are gonna probably jump on this, but I think Wapple, you're the life of the party.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, you absolutely are. Ashley, I know you'll back me up on that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Especially if you have a little bit of booze in you. You're so much fun.
Oh, but between my girlfriend's way more fun. Oh,
she is really outgoing. That's true.
Yeah.
Wapple's gimmick is all show. I've been to parties with Wapple, and he's like, "Hey, whippity-doo, look at you. How are you? Nice to meet you." And then we'll be in a room alone, and he'll be like, "This sucks, dude. I can't wait to get out of here."
I haven't seen that side.
He said to me once, he said, "You want to know how bad this party sucks?" I said, "How bad?" He said, "Dana's the life of the party." And I said, "Yeah, let's get the hell out of here."
Dude, I've never been to a party that bad.
I said, "You got any reefer? Let's just go smoke some reefer." Number 3, reasons couples break up: poor hygiene. Someone's a gross pig with body odor and they don't wipe properly or whatever the problem might be. Number 2, overuse of social media. Dana, just don't bother getting in any new relationships. Overuse of social media.
That does get really annoying, especially if it's constantly in front of you. Like, get off your phone. Pay attention.
I never would have considered that, the social media aspect of it. I get surprised. I mean, I don't follow any social media, and sometimes people will say, "Hey, I saw this happened at your, in your life, or this happened." I'm like, "How the heck would you know something like that?" My wife posted.
Oh, yeah.
So she's on social media.
I stay updated on like your kids' lives through your wife.
I've learned stuff about my kids from my wife. First of all, did you know we have 3?
What?
Yeah.
We got to get going. I got to give you this number one answer for the survey was conducted. What killed your relationship? People gave all these answers. This was the most common answer. And it kind of surprised me, but I get it. The answer? Clinginess.
Oh.
Where are you going? Who are you going there with? What time will you be back? I'll be so lonely without you. I love you. I love you too. No, but I really love you. That kind of a thing. Clinginess.
I've never been loved that much.
Oh, I love you that much.
Thank you.
I could love you like that. I just heard that song on the radio yesterday, Love 105.
That station jams.
I love you that much, Josh.
I love you that much.
What are you doing after the show? Where are you going? How long? When are you going to come back?
You know what? Why don't we start sharing our locations with each other? We haven't done that.
Because I don't. What does that mean? Sharing our location?
We can always just kind of look and see where our buddy is
on a phone.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to show me how to do that.
I have a lot of people on mine.
So I don't have anybody other than like wife and kids.
Oh, I have a couple of my friends.
I know that's kind of common for young folks like yourself, right?
Yeah, it's smart, in case we ever go get kidnapped or something like that.
If I'm sleeping and you're kidnapped, don't wake me. As soon as I wake up, though, I'm on the hunt.
Every Friday, we talk with the real pimps in town. Thanks to Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch for getting us involved with this. Every Friday, we're going to say hello to an active service member or veteran here in town. You can nominate a member of our armed forces on 93x.com. We get them on the air with us to say hi, and with each of these segments, a donation will be made to Folds of Honor in their name. Here's how this one played out. Lieutenant Colonel Brad Jameson of the Army Reserve was nominated by his sister-in-law. She said Brad is in his 29th year of dedication to our great nation. He's part of the Army Reserves and has served stateside in Iraq and South Korea. He's also on the board for Wounded Warrior Hockey, which is an amazing group of former and current military veterans. He's a great dad, brother, and son. Now we have him live on the air. Hello, Brad Jameson.
Good morning, guys.
What's going on, Brad? What a nice little nomination from your sister-in-law, Laura.
Right. And that's why I do it, because I have great family and great friends.
You're no kid. How old of a man are you now?
I'll be 50 next month.
I'll be damned.
No way. With the pictures you sent in, I wouldn't have guessed that. But obviously, you've been in the military a long time. But
yeah, I would have said 40 or something like that.
Yeah, we call this Faces of Minnesota's Military. If you don't mind me saying so, Brad, you look like a recruitment poster, doesn't he?
Yes, 100%.
Especially the picture you sent us in uniform. I thought, I'm going to enlist.
Dude,
I want to be like this guy.
You're wearing 50 quite well, Brad Jameson.
You sure are, that's for sure. Yeah, we also enjoyed the picture you sent in front of your house with the big bear to upset Ashley. You live in White Bear Lake.
That was very funny. Yeah, see, Ashley, off air, Ashley said she assumes you must have lost a bet. Otherwise, why did you choose to live in White Bear Lake, is what Ashley.
Yep.
If you were listening a few days ago, Ashley went off on White Bear Lake. And she specifically mentioned that everyone in town has a white bear in their yard, and you have one, Brad.
Yes, I do.
Good for you, Brad.
And
what's just everybody goes ahead and decides to put a white bear in their lawn, Brad? That's the case in White Bear Lake?
I think what the idea was is that we lived there for 10 years, so we're going to stay in White Bear, so we dedicated a white bear to our yard as well. So
that's pretty cool. It looks nice.
Where do you get one of those? Is there just like a white bear store in White Bear Lake, or?
Yeah, there is downtown on 4th Street.
Is there really? That's awesome.
No way. That's so cool, Brad.
Ashley, what if it meant a swinger left there? Then would you be interested in getting a white bear in front of your place?
Possibly.
Yeah, then I think that's going to spark your interest.
29 years, huh, Brad?
It's impressive.
Yeah, they haven't kicked me out yet, so I'm sticking around.
What's your specialty, if that's the proper way to ask that?
Yeah, so my MOS, I have 2 of them. It's combat arms with infantry and air defense. But now that I'm a little bit older, I'm taking a back seat and kind of OCTing, it's called. So observe other units before they go overseas, and we certify them before they go to the NTC, which is the National Training Center. So, pretty good job.
You got to know your stuff, man. Oh, man.
I'm blown away when people do important things with their lives.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Isn't that something? Your sister-in-law, Laura, nominated you. You're a married man, been married for a long time, Brad?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been 2 marriages, but the second one, is the best one. So the first one was, I guess you could say, practice.
So there's hope for me, is what you're saying.
I love that.
You got
Brad's a hero, and he just said you have no hope. So that's awesome.
That's one of the coldest things I've ever heard on this radio program.
That was good.
That was awesome.
The best part is he didn't even laugh after he said it, too.
No.
Brad, we appreciate. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, you guys drowned me out with your laughter, but no, it's all good. It's all worked out. I got 3 great kids from 2 different marriages, so yeah, it's all worked out well for me.
That's awesome, man. And before we let you go, tell us more about the Wounded Warrior hockey.
Yeah, I'd like to touch a little bit on that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So that was devised years ago by the name of Andy Qualley, and it's done wonders for our wounded vets. And it started out small, and it's gotten huge accolades now. And I don't want to put in any words in anybody's mouth, but what it's done for me has given me an opportunity to be with brothers and sisters on the ice and off the ice. So it's more than just skating. We have a starter program all the way up to guys coming out of high school, college, collegiate play. So it's really fun. It's really exciting, and we get to do a lot of good things for other communities as well. So
that's great.
That's nice, Brad.
Yeah, what an awesome thing.
You ever scored 5 goals in a game?
I can't believe you're doing this.
No, but I can put a nice saucer across the ice. So.
Yeah. Sauce, they call it, Brad. Sauce.
Yep.
The guy, he'll
That's
set
right,
you
the
up.
sauce, yep.
Set you up, put tape to tape kind of thing. That's how Brad operates. We appreciate you joining us on the air, and thank your sister-in-law, Laura, for nominating you. It's been cool to talk to you, Brad Jamison.
And likewise, thanks for having me on, guys.
Appreciate it very much.
Very cool.
Next Friday, we'll get to know somebody all over again, and a million thanks to Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Absolutely.
Well,
Janel, goodbye.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
we got to say goodbye to Janel.
I forgot about saying goodbye to Janel.
It's okay.
It's hard to say goodbye.
It really is.
We'll have to
I'm
say
going to cry all weekend.
see you next time.
But yeah, next week.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you guys.
All
You
right,
too.
Take care. Do you guys know it's Depot, a.k.a. Viking long snapper, Pro Bowler, and Brotherhood member Andrew DePaula's birthday today?
Just saw that a little bit ago.
Happy birthday to him.
36.
I knew nothing about it.
36. Happy birthday to Security Jesus. Belated birthday to new driver Jesus from Ludyamang Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.